Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Bottom of the Bill. We got Mike Ciero on here today.
What's up?
Thanks for being on here, man.
I'm stoked, man. I appreciate you guys inviting me on.
Absolutely. Mike's a talent buyer, promoter, an agent, production manager, wears many hats. And so my first question for you is...
Whoa. What are you doing?
Oh, we need to do the cheers, right?
Oh, my God.
I'm so sorry. I got right into this.
It's because I'm not drinking an alcoholic beverage.
What are you talking about?
That's alcoholic monster.
I mean, this is
my favorite part.
Fucking be.
You're not drinking alcoholic beverage, and it's called rehab.
Yeah. Right.
That'll do it.
All right.
Anyway, sorry to break your monologue.
It's okay. Before we get into the questions, anyways, we have some shows just to talk about. We're gonna be at Will's Pub in Orlando with our boys Tanned and Daniel Heights Band on next Thursday, actually, on October 14th. We'll be at 1904 Music Hall the next night on the 15th, also with Tanned. And then we'll be down in South Florida again for the first time in a while at Crazy Uncle Mike's on Saturday the 16th. So get your tickets while you can. SideHustleTheBand.com. They're all available there. And then as far as other shows coming up, I don't really have. I mean, I've got some solo stuff that I'll bring up in a minute. But Bill, do you got anything you want to promote?
That is correct. Yeah, Greenhouse Lounge is going on tour. The week after Side Hustle is going on tour, and we, ironically, are playing almost the exact same locations. We're playing October 21st at the High Dive in Gainesville, 22nd at 1904 Music Hall, 23rd at Tuffy's Bottle Shop in Sanford, Florida.
So one venue is the same then.
What is?
Just one venue, not all the same
We're going on a Florida tour, and it's kind of in the same area.
Gotcha.
Two of them are in the same area.
You got anything you want to talk about, Mike? Anything you want to shows or anything you got coming up specifically?
Oh, man, there's so many shows coming up. But I kind of want to go back to the venue. I want to kind of try to be called Crazy Uncle Mike.
Is that what you want to be called?
I think that's pretty fucking cool.
I was going to ask you, did Crazy Uncle Mike, was that called something else before, or has it always been that?
It opened after I left South Florida,
so you don't know what it was?
I don't know what it was before that.
I wonder if it's a place that I've been to before in Boca Raton.
What do you think it was called?
I think it was called the Funky Buddha.
No, it's not that
or not
place.
Funky Buddha, but something close to that.
The Funky Buddha there was one in Boca, yeah, but it's not that. It's shut down, but it's not that place.
No. It's okay. All right. I'm thinking of it wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it used to be.
We'll see when we get there.
Question number one. What do we need promoters for?
No.
I was joking. No. I was joking. It's like an ongoing joke and theme amongst the podcast where I just always have a thing with promoters. And there's some of you guys I love, and but there's also some that I've worked with that are not so great. So it's just I don't know. I thought it'd be a good way to open up the podcast.
It's an absolute great question, honestly. Yeah. Honestly, you probably shouldn't, but the way shit rolls,
off to a great start.
Yeah, the way shit rolls. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who don't really know how to put a show together, and when they start to do it, they realize they don't like doing it.
Yeah, well, it took me a long time to figure out exactly what promoters did, because I came from a different world where promoters weren't so much part of the day-to-day. Now, in the scene that we're in now, I mean, I've been in the scene now for 6 years, but when I was first getting started, I was like, okay, well, I'll just book the show, and then what do I need a promoter for? But then I started realizing all the details of what goes into an actual show, and I was like, oh, now I see what promoters actually do, and this is why they exist. And there's a middleman between the artist and the talent buyer, the booking agent, whatever it is,
Good promoters.
Good promoters.
That's what good promoters do.
Totally. Now, before we get into all that stuff, give us some of your background and where you're from and all that stuff.
All right. Well, I was born and raised in New York, Long Island.
Nice. Whereabouts?
Brentwood, New York, home of EPMD. I don't know if you guys know who EPMD is.
No idea.
Nope.
But you should definitely look them up, because it's one of the best hip hop acts in the history of hip hop.
Really?
Eric Sermon, Eric Parrish, Making Dollars.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
Eric Sermon and you probably heard some of the songs.
Yeah.
Crossover, and yeah, they were a big Def Jam. They were big on Def Jam and shit.
Okay.
Eric
Bassist
Sermon's a huge producer.
From Long Island, actually.
What's that?
Our bassist is from Long Island.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Where's he from?
The island. I don't know.
I don't know if he said.
I'm not from Kentucky. I don't know anything about New York.
It's different than Long Island.
I know that.
That's way different.
Yeah, he says it's a small town, like 90 minutes from the city. So I don't know, where you were in relation to the city, but he was not anywhere near there. So
Yeah, it was less than 90 minutes.
Okay.
It was probably 45 minutes or so. But
You spent much time in the city when you were there?
yeah, I went to a lot of shows there because there was a CBGB's and the Ritz, which is now Webster Hall, and yeah, I went to a lot of shows in the city because there was always shows there.
How long did you live there for?
18 years, and then I moved to Florida.
Oh, okay. So is that when you started? Like, were you working while you were there? You were just like a supporter, I guess, at the time, or?
Well, yeah. So I always, it's funny because I kind of always forget this until I'm reminded. But I was definitely a music fan. I was mostly a metalhead and into hardcore and shit like that. That was most of the shows I went to. Got into hip hop real heavy when I was about 16. Did some of that, but started working with a death metal band that I was friends with, and then would start booking them. And it was like, as a 16-year-old, I didn't know how to do that. But what we did is we'd rent out studio, because there was studio spaces in Long Island that you could rent out, like band rooms and shit, which was
Right.
cool. So we'd rent those out and throw shows in them, and charge people to get in and make money, and got band shirts made and demos and all that shit. The band didn't go anywhere, but definitely learned a lot, promoting and whatnot, learning some of the stuff, the ins and outs. So I kind of started dabbling in it naturally, just being around people and shit, because they didn't know what to do. They were like, we don't know how to play these venues. And I was like, well, let's figure it out.
Yeah, and it's an interesting side of the industry to I guess pursue so early on. Were you? When did you discover that you had a passion for playing music and that you want to get involved in it in some respect?
So what's funny is I never kind of really played music. Every time I tried to start playing a guitar, I'd start playing something and it would sound like another song, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna listen to that song because they do it way better than I'm trying to do it right now.
Interesting.
So I'd hit some note and I'd be like, oh shit, that sounds like Slayer. I'm just gonna go listen to Slayer. Fuck it. They're way better at this. But I mean, dude, I was always fascinated with music, like a little kid. Like the first video I saw on MTV when my parents got it when growing up was Bad Outta Hell from Meatloaf. I remember like watching that, and I would just sit there and stare at fucking MTV. Like even if I didn't like the song, I would just sit there and stare at it, and just the news came on every hour, and I would just be like, oh shit, what news is today?
Yeah.
Didn't matter what they were talking about, I was listening. I was like, they were talking about Madonna, I was listening. They were talking about Howard Jones, I was listening. It didn't matter. I was like, what was it? So I've kind of always been just attracted to music. And then I went to see Judas Priest in July of 1988, and that really fucked me up, dude. That was it. There was no coming back from that at all. That shit blew my face off, and I've been into it ever since. So
How old were you when you saw them?
shit, that was 88. So it was damn math, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Wow, that's
13
a young age to go see a show like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That must have been pretty intense.
It was fucking wild.
Your
dude.
parents took you to that?
No, my sister's friends took me
Oh, okay.
because they knew I was a fucking metalhead. But they were like, "You haven't gone to a concert?" And they're like, "No." And they're like, "Well, you like Judas Priest, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." I'm like, "Who are these old dudes that talking about Judas Priest?" Not realizing Judas Priest have been around since the fucking early 70s.
Yeah.
But but they were like, "We're taking you tonight," and sure enough, we did. We went, and it was crazy. It was fucking wild. Cinderella opened. They
Oh,
were
nice.
great. I was a
Wow.
fan. I was all into hair metal and shit. Still am. But Judas Priest, though, man, that shit was wild, dude. He came up in an elevator on one side of the stage, and Rob Halford, bro.
Man.
Where'd you see him at?
Nassau Coliseum,
Okay, right on.
which is still alive and kicking today.
Yeah.
It's in Long Island.
Long Island, yep.
That's my. That's
Strong
my
Island.
Strong Island. That accent's so wild to me, man. That Long
I
Island
tried.
accent and then the Boston accent. The two accents that like.
Even if you do have a Long Island accent, but you still say Florida, right? I know.
Say Florida.
Yeah,
Say Florida, not
like
Florida.
my Carrie. My girlfriend's from New Jersey, and she says Florida.
Florida.
I get her to
Florida.
say,
Oh, yeah, the
say,
Florida. Yeah.
say Florida oranges. She goes Florida oranges.
Oranges.
So my accent's a little thicker again, though, because I just watched the whole Sopranos
Oh,
series. and it kind of came back a little bit.
You watch it like in anticipation of watching the movie?
Well, on accident. I started to, and then about 3 episodes in, I was like, "Oh shit, the movie's coming out."
You might as well finish it.
And yeah, so I was like, so I rushed through. I binge watched.
I never got past the part where he's in the pool with the ducks.
Okay.
Oh,
So I
man.
watched the first 15
Listen,
minutes. And
fucking
that's
Sopranos.
You are doing yourself a disservice,
Very
my
much
friend.
so.
If you are into mob movies or mob
I
anything,
love Martin Scorsese and all his movies.
It is-
Is it like that?
it's
Amazing.
it's
Is
the
it like
best.
The Godfather?
It's the best thing.
It's
Alright.
like a series.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
It's
And-
not. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Well, it's not like The Godfather because, like, obviously it's like, what is it, 6 seasons or 8 seasons?
It's 6 seasons.
Yeah, 6
and a half.
seasons. Yeah, and so obviously it goes a lot deeper, but it's the best rendition of like that lifestyle because it goes so deep into the personal life,
Yeah.
and it's like the first time where you're kind of like rooting for this evil villain,
Yeah.
like he is like the worst human being in the world, but like you're empathizing with him and sympathizing with him, and and then they also give you all the mob stuff too, like the structure of how the family works and how the like how the payments work and becoming a made man and all. It's just it's the best show.
It's deep. It's very deep, and it's definitely one of the best shows. And James Gandolfini, holy shit! I mean,
Oh my
R.I.P.
God.
dude, but
He is
fucking
Tony
amazing.
Soprano.
He is amazing.
Yeah.
He is absolutely amazing in that show.
You got me started on a fucking Sopranos kick,
know.
bro, and I don't know that I'm gonna get off of it, to be honest with you.
That's fine.
We'll just talk about the Sopranos this whole
So
episode.
his Sopranos episode.
Yeah.
I've never really seen it. I'm not having anything against it. I watched it all the way up until where he's like driving a car in the park to like get money from this guy, and I laughed my ass
yeah.
off. And then I just kind of forgot about it. I never watched anything else past it.
Yeah, you gotta, if you're into mafia stuff, that's like the best thing that I've seen. I've seen like all the mafia movies.
And I went
I'm
up to New
obsessed with that
Jersey, and I just kept on saying "gabagool" the whole time. And I didn't know
stuff.
what it
Okay.
meant.
See, you do things like that are
What?
condescending to people that live there. Like, so I'm from South Florida, and one time we were playing in Miami, okay? And Billy's like, Miami, the what'd you call it?
I don't know.
The
What did I call
the
it?
city of lights or some
City
shit.
of Lights,
some shit like that.
Miami.
And this
I
dude
kept on doing every single one. The
Yeah,
Big Apple.
The Big Apple, yeah. And this dude walks up and says, "Hey, man."
City of Brotherly Love.
They say, "Hey, man, it's a magic city. Fucking stop." And Billy's like, keeps on going on. I was like, I know that you think you're being funny, but
I
you're
was.
pissing the locals off.
No,
You were being
nobody-
funny. I thought it was
nobody-
funny.
yeah, I
but when
was
someone
being
comes and
funny.
smacks you in the mouth, I'm just gonna laugh because you deserved it.
Definitely.
I
That's
probably
funny
do
too.
deserve it, but it was worth the joke.
Yeah, it was worth the joke.
I'll fucking-
Sometimes you got to sacrifice for the greater good of comedy.
Exactly.
You
I was
should have
about
been a
to say, I'm gonna
comedian.
Die for a laugh. I will.
Who's comedy night at Headroom tonight starts?
Oh, it
On
for
Tuesdays.
real?
Yeah. 10
Oh.
o'clock.
We gotta move.
Open
move,
mic,
move the
free.
podcast, bro.
Ooh, live podcast.
We've been trying to make that happen for a long. I
You
should
do a
have said
live
that on here.
podcast at Headroom while the comedians are going, and if they're horrible, it's great.
Oh,
You
we get
got-
like commentators for
Yes,
the comedians.
yes.
Oh my god, that'd be fucking.
that's a whole
great.
different podcast in itself.
It really
I
is.
want in. I want in.
Yeah, Mike's trying to promote it, bro. He's trying to get. He's trying to get. He's trying to get his 10%.
Is this the first night that they're
15.
doing it?
15.
This is the this is the first night. They're
This is-
kicking it off.
I'm
Yep.
fucking going.
Yeah.
Shit, do it after the podcast.
What time is it going at?
Starts at 10.
Oh, it starts at 10. Did you just
Yeah,
say that?
yeah,
I just
there.
missed it. Yeah, let's
That's
fucking do it. I'm down. Okay, so back on track.
What do you mean?
When
Sopranos.
Surprise. Okay, so you moved. When? Why did you move to Florida?
Just family shit. My sister moved down here. My sister and I are pretty close. Just a bunch of shit happened where, school sucked, got kicked out, and then got fired from my job. Girlfriend broke up with me. And I know you guys probably aren't familiar, but it sounds like a fucking Life of Agony album. They have like little snippets in between songs where all that shit happens, and it's funny because I'm like, that happened to me, all that shit. Not the suicide shit, because they talk about that too, but I never did that.
Yeah.
But yeah, all that shit just kind of happened all at once, and my sister's like, "Why don't you just move here, come live with us?" And I was like, "All right, it's Florida, fuck it, let's do it."
So you moved to Jacksonville, or did you move somewhere else?
Moved to
first?
Jacksonville.
Okay.
I was 18 and dumb. All
Yeah.
right? I'm kidding. Jacksonville's great.
It's a great town.
It's
yeah,
it's growing
Yeah.
every day.
for sure.
It is. Just, like the way that trees grow in Iceland.
No,
1
there's
inch a year.
No, I do love Jacksonville.
There's stuff
I do,
going on. It's
honestly.
a cool. It's
I
a
really
cool
do love
town.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
It's very exciting here.
Oh,
But Okay, so when did you start getting involved in the music scene here? And what was like the catalyst for that?
I was probably here for a couple of years, and then just, of course, going to shows and shit. Once I found the scene, took me a second to find it, to be honest with you, which is weird.
It does do that.
It's fucked up. The first weekend I moved here, right? Helmet and Jesus Lizard played at The Edge, maybe it was called then. It was Plush. It was called a ton of different things. It was over there on Arlington Expressway. Yeah. But Jesus Lizard and Helmet played, and it was like a Monday night because it was a holiday. And the fucking show was sold out, packed the fuck out. And I was like, oh, this is fucking great. And then it was crickets for months after that, and I couldn't find anything. And then I found the Milk Bar, which I don't know if you guys ever went to the Milk Bar back in the day, but
heard about it.
Legendary place. Saw so much cool shit there.
Where was that?
Milk Bar was downtown, where the real thing is now.
Oh,
it was the
okay.
Milk Bar, and the Milk Bar was the shit. Blink 182, Bad Religion. I mean, any punk band was fucking playing there. Like, any Warped Tour band has played there. But they bring in like a lot of cool thrash shit that I was into, like metal shit, like Exodus, Testament, Suicidal was there, Body Count. Saw Bad Brains there. That was sick.
Oh, nice.
But they do like industrial, like My Life with Thrill Kill Cult. I saw there. Front 242, bunch of shit like that. They bring in hip hop shit. Alcoholics was dope. That was a dope show.
Nice.
They did like a lot of. I mean, they did everything. They were just fucking like this underground club and just fucking crushed. It was a legendary club, dude. Like, I mean, there's bands like Rancid and shit that still talk about it. Like
wow.
They like.
Why they shut it down? You think?
Dude, I don't know, man. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know, being in the club business and owning venues is not easy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what happened, but one of the dudes involved was Danny Wimmer, and he does the DWP festivals like
Okay.
Rockville and all that shit.
Gotcha.
Which, I mean, obviously the dude's very successful in what he does. I think that's probably one of the main reasons he came to Jacksonville, Welcome to Rockville, I'd imagine, because this is his roots.
And there's a huge market for that music here still.
Yeah. There definitely is. Unfortunately, they're in Daytona now.
Yeah.
But understandably, I don't think it's a move they wanted to make. They just kind of had to make.
It got canceled this year, didn't it?
Nope. It's in Daytona.
It played this year?
It's in November.
Oh,
Metallica's headlining 2 nights, bro.
Oh, I thought it moved.
No, that shit's gonna be fire.
Okay.
It's in Daytona now, so.
Are they playing on the Speedway?
Yeah.
Damn.
Which is actually a great spot.
Oh,
Yeah.
It
God,
really
that would be
is.
ridiculous.
And it makes more sense because I mean
It
the
does.
residential issue
Right.
downtown
Yep.
when the river carrying the sound. I will say that I'm a huge Tool fan. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not huge. I'm a Tool fan,
Yeah.
and I got to see them for the first time at Rockville. And unfortunately, because of the way that they were doing certain things, depending on what side of the stage you were on, the sound was either amazing or it was the worst sound you've ever heard in your life.
Yep.
And I was unfortunately the latter part of that.
Did Eric Coppin run sound for that?
No.
Then that's why it
Eric was
awful.
there.
That was why it was awful.
Eric was there.
He
there-
was there.
There's I don't know what they did, but there was a certain way they were mixing it to try and make the sound not bounce off the river so
Right.
much to hit all the residential areas in San Marco and Riverside and all that. So they had to do a certain, I don't know, it was crazy. Eric could probably tell you exactly what they did.
I'm sure Eric would definitely.
And
down that
shout out to Eric Kaufman.
Eric,
Stallion.
But yeah, man, and it was just unfortunate. So I mean, it's probably a better move for them to go down to Daytona and play at the Speedway.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, the Milk Bar was he was involved in that. And Jason Lewis, who still does stuff. He does Jazz After Dark and stuff. Jason definitely he does some of the conventions that come to town that are pretty awesome. But Jason was he was a big promoter in Jacksonville for a while. Shout out to Jason Lewis. But he was involved heavily, and I met up with him because I was working at record stores, and I would sell tickets. They would bring ticket, and people would come in to buy tickets, and I'd take care of them. And then Milk Bar had Old Wave Mondays that were fucking great. They were packed every week. It was just fucking rad spot, man. And anybody like who's who came through. They loved the spot. So that's kind of how I got involved in Jacksonville. And then working at music stores. And then I was working at a CD warehouse. And then there was a band who asked me to manage them because I was selling a shit out of their CDs in the store. They were like, why are you selling so many of our CDs? I'm like, 'cause I'm getting people to buy it. It's good. I like it. And I'm getting people to buy it. And so they asked me to manage them. And from there, I started booking shows for them, like trading off shows in South Florida. Did a lot of South Florida stuff.
Nice. Where at?
We did Chili Pepper. Is that a spot?
Not anymore, but I think it was like Fort Lauderdale.
No, there was another spot in Fort Lauderdale we do. This one was in Coconut Grove.
Oh, Grove, yeah. It's not anymore, but I mean the Grove, like it's a huge area in Miami, yeah.
It was wild there. I loved it. We'd trade shows off with some bands down there. In Orlando, we'd trade off.
Yeah.
And then Tampa. We just kind of created markets with bands. And
so what was that was your first entrance really before you were doing anything substantial in the industry? You were managing like a kind of like up and coming regional act.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what does that entail? I mean, there's such a blurred line sometimes between being a manager and a booking agent, and those two roles often get conflated. Can you kind of give us some insight in the difference of what they both do?
It's definitely very, very different. Come to find out, when I was doing it at the time, I didn't really realize that. I just kind of took on the role of both. But booking's a full-time gig.
Totally.
Booking is a full-time gig if you're trying to keep a band busy. You're dealing with, them was a little bit more difficult because it wasn't. Not everybody had cell phones yet. Obviously we didn't have Facebook and all that shit. We had email, but things were slower. So you had to stay more on top of things. The communication was a little bit more difficult. But even so, to this day, it's still it takes up so much time. And then when when you're a manager of a band, you're also trying to promote. And then you're looking for opportunities and what can I do to get this band to the next level. And it's hard to do that while booking at the same time because you almost get caught up in one or the other, and then something is going to suffer.
Right.
So that's why it comes. You do need managers and booking agents to do that with. But promoters help do that because some promoters will believe in bands. Danny Wimmer, for instance, with Limp Bizkit, that he had a lot to do with that because he fucking believed in them and did what he could to help get them to the next level. And well, they just released a new song after having a career of how long? La-di-da.
Limp Bizkit has a new song?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, we need to stop and listen to it right now.
Play the tape, Bill.
We can't play
It's fire.
Limp
It's
Bizkit.
fire.
We don't have the copyright
Listen,
for
we get in
that.
trouble for that
Listen.
one. Yeah.
What's it called?
Dad vibes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
Dad
why I like
vibes.
it.
I
Maybe
don't
that's
know
why I
what
like it.
I-
I'm
what
all
I
about the dad
expected.
thing, but
Well, I mean, talk about a band that
No
made
idea.
a comeback out of nowhere, man. These
out of
guys,
fucking nowhere.
like,
Holy shit.
it was like literally they played a show I think around here recently, and then just like it blew up like all over all of the social media. Like just Limp Bizkit became like a thing, like a trend again.
How have
And
I not
was like,
seen anything like that?
because you live under a rock.
Oh, they were on Lollapalooza and fucking crushed it.
That's what it was.
Crushed
yeah.
it.
And like literally like Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and obviously Facebook, and like just everything was it was Limp Bizkit was everywhere.
Like how like all the hate of Nickelback, the Nickelback
Yeah,
memes, it was like that, but the opposite.
Yeah,
So
it was.
it actually was like, this is great.
Oh,
Keep going.
dude, they're like the #1 band again.
Yeah, it's
America.
wild to me. It's just wild.
I would love that. Like, bring that style of music back. Like, you see, like
like
the
rap
emo,
rock?
The emo music
Oh,
is
it's back.
emo. The
It's
emo
it's 1000% back.
I mean,
I don't hate it. I liked it when I was like in middle school. I was really into Limp
No,
Bizkit.
yeah, that was middle school for
Head
sure.
PE,
Yeah, yeah.
stuff like
They
that.
were on
They're
the
coming to
mission,
Archetype.
Head PE.
Shout out to Bruce.
No shit.
Yeah, Bruce
I'd go see
booked him
that
at
show.
Archetype.
They were on the Mission Impossible soundtrack.
Head PE.
No,
No,
sorry.
Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit
no,
is.
Limp
Yeah.
Bizkit was on the XXX soundtrack.
They were on the
Mission Impossible also.
They did Mission Impossible,
Mission
the main
Impossible.
song.
It was
too.
on Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored
Yeah.
Water.
I
That was
remember
probably my
that.
favorite. Here's a hot take.
Yeah.
That was the best Limp Bizkit record. Try me. Everyone says
First
$3
one,
bill.
the first one.
Yeah, because I
one
know
all day.
every generation's got their thing. It's your
I
$3
am older.
bill.
Yeah.
Break stuff. My generation usually likes break stuff. 'cause
My
that was, like,
generation.
elementary
Did you
school.
do that on purpose?
No,
Is that-
that's good though, right? That's
a
what the Limp Bizkit
it's a Limp
song.
Bizkit
Yeah.
song.
I figured,
Also
but-
on Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored Water,
Also
their
it is,
best
yeah.
records. So it was either. I mean, they had like their three biggest records were $3 bill, Break Stuff, and then Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored Water.
Significant Other.
Significant Other. That's what it was. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Significant Other.
Yeah, it was $3 bill, Significant Other, and then
Chocolate Starfish.
I have
Yeah.
a friend of mine that he's ginger. He's got red hair, and he kind of looks like Fred Durst, and so we call him Red Durst.
Red Dirt.
Red
Ooh, I
Durst.
like
I like
that.
that.
That's good.
That's a good.
That's good.
But every Limp Bizkit fan, their least favorite album is Chocolate Starfish because it's like it kind of went away from like the metal thing that they had.
Yeah, it's a little bit more accessible.
Yeah, and I like accessibility. Unless I'm writing the song, then I want to make it go way over people's heads. All right. Anyways, you got nothing to say about that, Bill?
Well, no, I was just thinking about because they're from Jacksonville, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, have you watched on Netflix the Leonard Skinner documentary
Yes.
yet? It's so good, right?
So I watched it when it first came out.
Yeah.
And what's weird is I guess because maybe it went on Netflix, it's kind of having like a little resurgence.
Good.
But man, it's so good, and it's so cool to hear about all their. Not to get political. I fucking hate to get political. However, I'm a fucking I believe in progress and shit like that, and
Trump
to hear all their
2024,
views
I
on
hear
it.
ya.
Yeah, it
I'm
was
kidding.
phenomenal.
It was really
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
What I was thinking about, I was like, they're from Jacksonville and everything like that. And I just watched that documentary, and I just like they tried so freaking hard, and they were just like all of these just instrumental musicians and everything like that. And that style is so different than the next big band that came out of there.
It's wild.
I'm just thinking of like what happened in that 20-year gap
Well, then think about like.
between them.
Well, then think about like the difference of like
Nobody
Limp
made
Bizkit
it
and
out of
Yellow
the 80s.
Card. You know what I mean?
No, I know. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true too.
It's like
very
Jacksonville is a pretty diverse
Jacksonville's
scene.
so weird, man. Jacksonville has got some really cool shit in it, and it's kind of like, look, Leonard Skinner is probably one of the most important bands in history. I'll say
Yeah.
it. I don't give a shit. They're one of the most important bands. Like
Yeah.
Freebird is probably a top 5 song of all time.
Yeah,
of,
way to ruin every gig that I play. By the
you
way,
know-
No. But I mean, it really
But,
is an amazing.
You know, and then
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit, I don't know. I saw some fucking nerdy stat somewhere, like they were like number 13 of best-selling groups of all time at some point.
Wow.
I
It's
mean,
insane,
they-
right? And I don't know if it was something like that, but
I mean, they pioneered like
household name.
Yeah, man. I mean, they I don't know if they pioneered, but they really brought to light an entire genre of music that was kind of just living beneath the surface for a while. And then like Limp Bizkit, Kid Rock, people like that came to the forefront. Kid Rock kind of went off the rails, but like
Do you think Limp Bizkit was first, or was Kid Rock was first?
Corn.
Korn,
Corn
yeah.
did it. There was Corn.
Yeah.
1,000%.
But
Corn
man, Limp
definitely
Bizkit-
walks so everybody could run. You know.
I guess that's true. Like I guess, but I think like Limp Bizkit had a little bit more of the hip hop element to what they were doing than
Yeah,
Korn
they
did.
went. They did. They had more of the, and then they
They really doubled down on it.
they were
as it
more
went on.
accessible
Yeah.
again, and then they really took it to the next level and made it bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger
Do
than
you
it
do you
ever
know
was.
Fred Durst?
I do not.
Do
I
you
do not.
know if
Never
he
met
lives
him.
If he lives in Jacksonville?
He lives in L.A.
Oh, he lives in L.A.
He lives in L.A., but I believe he has a house in Jacksonville, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know.
Have you seen the Leonard Skinner documentary yet?
No,
It's pretty
That's
good.
fucking phenomenal.
I gotta watch it, man. I've got this thing, Leonard
Phenomenal.
Skinner. I've like. Just-
It made me completely any sort of like opinion I had about it that was bad just completely washed away.
1,000%. If you have any negative thing about them, you watch this and you're like, you know what? It's like one of the best bands in the world.
My favorite part, we were talking about this outside, is how poor they were. And
Oh,
how
yeah.
They like started
Dirt
from
fucking
nothing,
poor.
from
Fucking West
absolutely
Siders,
nothing.
bro.
And they still were
like
just
back
like
in the day, West Siders
I
too.
know.
What's funny is there's they talk about the fucking playing the Jug, which was like a old place in the West Side.
Yeah.
But there was rumors, and I don't know how true this is, but they played Archetype before it was Nighthawks or Archetype, obviously before
no
it was
shit,
the norm.
right down the street.
Yeah, they played. They supposedly it was like a place that would like a bar that would have bands every once in a while, and Leonard Skinner played there before they were anything.
Yeah.
Before they.
I thought so. They used to play like the drag shows there.
I thought it was
before
a gay bar, yeah.
Before that. Okay, yeah.
That building's apparently been there for quite some time.
Yeah.
Again, that's hearsay. I don't know if that's true or not, but
I mean,
That's the
I could
rumors.
totally see that happening. They
But it
probably
makes
played
sense.
everywhere they could. Yeah.
right.
But watching their struggle and everything, the only reason they made it is because that producer or promoter, he was working with an album and everything that he signed on, and it was like after like 4 or 5 years of them just like trying their damnedest to do
Yeah.
anything and just being so poor,
Yeah.
just so poor.
So Jacksonville. They're so Jacksonville.
Yeah.
They'd fucking fight over like the dumbest shit, but it's not dumb shit really. It's like, well, you probably shouldn't fight over that, but you're from Jacksonville, so I get why you're fighting over it.
And probably their second most famous song ever talks about being from Alabama. So fuck
So
us, right?
they
And they
talk
get- they
no,
get
they
into
talk
that.
about all that. They talk about all that, and when you hear it, you're
It's
like,
a political
oh,
song.
Oh,
Yep,
okay.
very much so. and they tell Neil Young to fuck off.
Yeah, they did
You
do
know?
that. Yep.
But
Yep.
again, very Duval thing. Like they don't fucking they don't hold their tongue. They're like, nah, fuck you, man. You can talk bad about us. We're not
Yeah.
having that.
That's for sure.
And I love it. And then they'd probably sit back and have a beer with them afterwards.
Yeah.
After they're like, hey, fuck you, man.
You think you think it was a bit of a publicity stunt?
Not at all.
No.
No, I just think that's just kind of a very natural way to be for people like Leonard Skinner, is to be very like aggressive about shit,
Yeah.
but then become friends afterwards.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that's kind of
like, we'll
ingrained
fight
in
it
most
out.
men. I feel like most men are like that.
We'll fight
On
it
the
out,
west side, yeah.
and then we'll be fucking homies afterwards.
All my friends were like that in South Florida too, bro. We've all been in fist fights with each other,
Sounds
and then it's
familiar.
just like, all right, man, you're a fucking asshole. I'll see you tomorrow.
Listen, the Imperial made fucking bromances happen from fistfights. I can't tell you the amount of people that I had to break up from fighting, and I'm like, you guys are fucking idiots. You'll end up being friends. Sure enough,
They're friends.
20 years later, they're fucking BFFs still.
Your thing is like your best friends, because it's almost like the new term that they're using now is called trauma bond.
What
It's
is
almost
that?
Oh,
yeah,
alright.
it's almost kind of like it's something. I would imagine that it's something like that, because I've been, the people that I still am in contact with from like the high school days are people that I have very specific things in common with. One of those things is that we've all been to war with each other. Or for each other,
Yeah.
we've been in we've gotten jumped together, we've been in like crazy situations, guns gotten pulled, all kinds of crazy things that like we look back on those moments and we're like, man, we got out of that. We went through that together. Those are the people that I'm still friends with today. So sometimes it's not always you versus the world, though. Sometimes it's you versus them.
Yeah.
And then after that, you're like, well, we went through this thing together. Nobody else knows me or knows you in that scenario other than you or me. It's a very small group of people. And, so we have that and we're cool. We got it out of our systems and you move on. And it's like that thing kind of bonds you in a weird way. I don't know why, but it just does.
Yeah. That's a perfect way to put it. Trauma bond.
Yeah.
I feel like being in a band is very traumatic.
Very much.
Oh,
so.
totally.
Holy shit. Are you
Because
kidding
we've
me?
never fist fight before.
No, well, we're also, in our 30s, so
Oh, yeah.
that stops happening.
You got it.
But
At
I'm sure
about-
you get angry at each other.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Billy,
You mentally fist fight each other.
Billy, there's not a person on the planet that can irritate me more than Billy.
That is true.
Outside of family,
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah.
Um,
But look what he said, though. Family. And the same
I
sentence.
said outside of family.
No, but I have the
I
same.
get it.
He I have the same qualities.
It's there.
But I designate
love's
the
there.
separation, though, right?
The
Will
love's
they
there.
or won't they situation.
Okay. Hey everyone, just want to take a second to talk to you about one of our favorite music venues, Blue Jay Listening Room. Blue Jay is a space for true music lovers where every ticket is a backstage pass. Silence your cell phones, enjoy a nice glass of wine or craft beer, and be part of an intimate experience unlike anywhere else in Jacksonville. Hear national and local artists sing their original songs and share the stories behind them in a space carefully curated for the premier show-going experience. I personally have seen some of my favorite shows here, as well as having played with some of my heroes. Not only is Blue Jay a wonderfully unique experience, it has become a staple in the Florida music scene. Mention Bottom of the Bill on your next visit and receive 10% off your tab. Blue Jay is located at 2457 3rd Street South, Jacksonville Beach, and be sure to check out www.bluejayjacks.com for news, ticketing, and events. All right, so anyways, you brought up the Imperial. This is a
Yes.
venue that you were working at that you ended up owning at some point.
Yeah, I was just working shows there, with some friends. Lisa Thomas, who does
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot with Jack's Live
Jack's
now.
Live,
She's
yeah.
fucking awesome. I
Tim
love Lisa.
Hall.
Shout out to Lisa. Has Lisa been on here?
No,
No.
I've actually been
Lisa.
meaning to hit her up and get on here. Yeah, I definitely
She should
need
be
to
on
get her
here.
on.
She is fucking great, and she is a blast. She's hilarious. She is awesome. She'll take over the podcast because she's just a natural.
Good. Someone's
But
got to
yeah,
take it out of my fucking
listen,
hands.
she would be fucking phenomenal. I would listen to that. Tim Hall.
We had Tim Hall
works
on
with
here,
Tim
yeah.
Hall. But so she owned it at the time with Nick Wagner, tattoo artist, who's
Okay.
another guy you could have on here because he's fucking great too. He owns Black Hive Tattoo now.
Okay.
Nick is, a very good friend and great dude. But they had the Imperial going, and a lot of people worked there, like Vic. Vic worked there, who R.I.P. Vic,
Yeah,
Victor
R.I.P.
Sharp, the legend himself. Just a lot of people I knew worked there, and obviously became friends with a lot of people there. And then, honestly, how I started booking, aside from helping the band out and trading shows off, and bands would kind of help, hey, we're trying to play there because we're trying to tour, and can you help us out? Say sure, and I'd help out bands. But then I started going, you know what, man? There's a lot of fucking tours that pass off Jacksonville, and I'm sick of it because I don't really want to fucking drive somewhere else to go see a tour. So I started going, let me figure this out, man. Let me find out who books these guys, start talking to them, and figure out what I could do. I work at a venue. I got it to, it's to my avail. So sure enough, from there, just started, and then didn't stop. And that it really just started with me being aggravated with shows skipping Jacksonville.
Yeah.
It's not an A market, so I get why that happens. But I was like, fuck, man. What? Put this tour in Jacksonville. You're going right. You got to go through it to fucking play, in Orlando.
At least give us a fucking Wednesday.
Yeah.
No, this is a great Wednesday market.
Yeah, it's a great Wednesday market. Yeah. All right. So when did you take over as the owner of the Imperial?
Fuck.
And why did you do that?
I didn't mean to.
Oh, you didn't mean to?
I didn't mean to. That's for damn sure.
He's like woke up one day. He's like, "Fuck, do I own this place?"
It's kind of almost how it fucking happened.
Lost a bet.
It just it changed hands. Lisa had stepped down again. Man, the venue shit's not easy to do. It's really difficult. It wears on you. I don't wish that upon my worst enemy, but there was a lot of things going on there. And just people were just getting sick and tired of it, and the bills were piling up, and small DIY place in downtown Jacksonville, and somehow it just landed in my lap pretty much. And I had shows booked, and I'm like, I can't cancel the fucking shows. Like, I got contracts and stuff, and the bands are slated to play here. I got deposits out. I need to make these shows still happen. So I was like, I'll keep the doors open, and I did that for a while. It sucked. It's a pain in the ass, but no, it was cool. It was obviously it was a important spot to a lot of people. I still get people bringing it up to me and thanking me, and it was cool because when I was growing up, I would go to this venue called Sundance a lot on Long Island, and man, it just kept me from getting in trouble. Like I would instead of me being on the streets at night, as cliche as it sounds, I was stage diving at fucking 2:00 in the morning while Testament was playing,
right.
Or at a hardcore show, seeing Sick of It All or some shit like that. That's where I was. That's where I always was. I worked to pay for shows, to buy band merch. I couldn't wait to see who was going to play next, and it literally kept me going. And it was cool because the Imperial, to me, kind of felt like it was a spot for a lot of people like that, like like the rejects and the people that didn't have a place to go. They did have a place to go that felt like, maybe I do belong somewhere. And the Milk Bar was like that. The Milk Bar was a lot like that. And, it just, unfortunately, with the Milk Bar closing, there wasn't really a spot like that in Jacksonville,
I feel like you should go and lobby to city to the city council about leaving bars open later than 2 a.m. so people can have a place to go and stage dive rather
We're
than
in
sell
the South,
drugs
not
on
the
the
deep
street.
South.
Man, that 2 o'clock.
That's only Miami.
It's funny when at the Helmet show they would talk about last call. I'm like, what the fuck's a last call?
Yeah,
I didn't know what it was, and then it took me a while, and then I realized I was like, oh shit, they stopped serving here? That's fucking weird.
Yeah, bro. I didn't know what last call was, so I went to LA. My sister was like, yeah, all the bars here close at 2 a.m. But really they close at 1:30 because they want you out by 2.
They want you out by 2.
And I was like, wait, what do you they close at 2 a.m.?
Oh, man.
And she was like, yeah. I was like, first off, like, where does that happen anywhere else? Because like in South Florida, everything's open till Fort Lauderdale, fuck it. Like they say 4 a.m., but let's be real, they don't shut shit down.
No,
and Miami's the same way.
Whatever the fuck they feel like.
Yeah.
You should go to Brunswick, Georgia.
Oh no.
Where at 11:45, for no reason, the 45 can't make it to midnight. 15 minutes, and they shut everything down.
They need time to shut the place down.
11:45. That was such a weird number.
Shout out to Tipsy McSway's. We love playing there. It's a great spot.
Yeah,
Brunswick's got
true.
some cool places.
Wicktown all day.
Wicktown. So I'm curious as to what did you learn? I guess what aspect of owning a venue became very apparent to you when you became the owner of a venue versus just putting on shows at a venue?
A bar is very important.
Yeah.
Bar is very important for sure. I always kind of wanted the bar to do well and stuff. But when you own it, you realize.
Well, you need the bar to do
look,
well
the
when you own
fucking
it.
bar has to do well. You know.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. You just there's so much work. You can't just have a night job. You have to do shit during the day. You know, you have to get legal, and I had people come in and help me. I had my buddy Ed come in, and Ed was a lot younger, but somehow, man, he's just fucking smart, dude. He's a knucklehead.
Yeah.
I love him, but he would come in and help. Dan helped too. Dan's still doing shit too. Dan works at 1904 and Underbelly, and Dan's still around doing stuff, but he helped out a lot too. There was a bunch of people who'd come in and help and pull weight that they never had to pull, but they just cared about the place, which was cool. There was Joey, who was the sound guy there. Joey's awesome. He's actually on tour. He was just in Jacksonville on tour with Suicide Boys doing sound and Turnstile, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with, but
No.
I'm pretty sure it was a sold out dailies.
Oh,
Suicide
nice.
Boys
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a
Wow.
hip hop group from New Orleans, I believe.
Okay.
Shake, what was on there, is another hip hop dude from LA who came up in the hardcore scene, and he's played the Imperial and bands he was in. Turnstile played the Imperial after it was the Imperial. It wasn't the Imperial anymore, but Turnstile is one of the hottest bands in hardcore right now, and kind of
I've heard of them.
they're a little bit more beyond hardcore right now. They've expanded past it, but they're definitely up and coming, really hot. Like, they're bigger than hardcore now.
Okay.
But great band, awesome band. But yeah, they just killed it, dailies. But Joey, he's doing sound on that tour, but he was a big help at that venue too. He's a great sound guy. He's in the same class as Eric. Very cool dude. Would always stay kind of calm. We'd have death metal bands come in, and they loved him because he wasn't an asshole. Because a lot of sound guys are a little difficult to
bitter.
work with, and then they're very territorial.
Oh, totally, man.
So
As we all know
Oh my
why,
God,
Yeah.
right?
I really
Yeah.
want to talk
No,
about
we don't have to talk about it right now,
I really
but-
do want to talk about
No,
it.
we'll
That's
talk
all right.
about. We'll get Eric back on. We'll talk about it. Eric, I love Eric. I say this with all the love in the world, bro.
Stallion.
Eric has the potential to be the best, crankiest sound guy in the world. He's just not old enough yet.
No.
But he'll get there.
Well,
bro.
he'll get there.
He's gonna
He'll
get
get
there.
there.
He's gonna. Eric's gonna be the guy that, and I'm just happy that I got to know him early on.
What do you mean?
Before he got to be the cranky
not
sound
cranky.
guy. He's gonna be a cranky sound
Oh, you
guy,
think
bro.
he's
You
gonna
think
grow
so?
into
Oh
it?
yeah, of course. They all do
No,
at some point,
I get
bro.
him a smile. He loves me. Me and Eric have a great relationship.
I love Eric to death, bro. That's my fucking boy right there.
No.
I literally, he's like, we were just. It doesn't matter. Eric's my fucking boy,
I
bro.
know.
But
Eric loves you guys too.
Yeah,
He's like stoked when you guys play.
He is such a supporter of our band, and literally whenever we play a show, even if I have like shit in my head, like bad shit, he's like the fucking the angel talking me down at the end of the night. Like, he's my fucking boy, man. But he's gonna be the cranky sound guy.
You know what's cool about
I
Eric?
just say that all love in the world, Eric.
There's
a
every
chance.
sound guy has that suck button, right? That
Yeah.
they don't want to fucking like a band. They're like, well, fuck you. Eric's not like that, man. He'll still make people sound good, despite them being assholes.
Because he cares. He's an artist.
He
cares about what
is an
does.
artist. He is absolutely a fucking
We were
artist for
talking
sure.
about this too earlier. I'm like, you're just making yourself look bad. Why would you
Yeah.
Why
put
would
a
you do that?
suck button?
Right.
Yeah.
Just fucking do good.
Why would
right?
you put reverb on a piano on
Yeah,
every
just-
on my
just-
synthesizers? How dare you?
Yeah.
That sounds.
Sorry, now
that
I
sounds
am talking
wild.
about a
That
sound
sounds
guy that I
wild.
wasn't supposed to talk about.
Uh,
I didn't ask for this.
be a little more specific, bro.
I
No, I'm just joking.
can't.
I'm joking. That was definitely a joke.
You
Jesus.
gave me that look. I can't talk about.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear this one.
Oh, he's the worst. He's the worst. Worst.
We
If
talked
there
about a
was a-
recent show. I don't even know what show we're talking about.
You do.
Oh, okay. I
It
do know
was
show.
Pretty recent.
All right. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's all right. Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
So bad.
So, ideally,
The same way that you shouldn't be allowed to drive anymore when you get that age.
oh, you should stop being able to run sound.
I feel that.
Yeah, well, I mean, literally, your ears just stop working at a certain point, right? And don't tell me that your microphone's better than mine. I know it works my fucking voice, bro. I'm
the
just saying.
crank gets
Anyways,
cranked up
we're
the
get-
older you
yeah.
get. And you gotta have a cutoff.
All right,
for
we're
the
getting
crankiness.
too much. This is too
All right,
much.
sorry.
So
That guy sucks. Fuck you. I will say.
all right, so in an ideal world, the interests of all parties are aligned when a show is being put on between whoever owns the venue, whoever's promoting the venue, the agents, the managers acting as a middleman for the band, sound guy or sound person 2021
Or sound
and then the band, right? All the interests ideally should be aligned, but the music industry is notorious for people that are in the same boat to have competing interests, and somebody gets screwed out of a deal. Being a venue owner and also being a promoter who's worked with bands and been in bands, do you see why those things can happen, or have you been in a scenario where just lines of communication get blurred or whatever it might be, where somebody feels like they got the shit end of the stick?
Oh God, yeah. So here's my thing, right? And not everybody will agree with this, but it's a marathon, not a sprint, right? So as a promoter or venue owner, I don't need to make $500 right this second on this particular show. How about we just have a kick-ass show, make a little bit, you can make a little bit more as an artist, and then we keep on doing this, and then down the road we'll end up making more money together, and we'll grow together. And it's the whole community, like the common unity of people.
Like the common unity, I like that.
I think that's real important, and
It's
I
a good
think
band name. Sorry.
yeah, that would be a good band name.
All right.
They should play the Fest in Gainesville. I think that would work. But yeah, I think there are people out there who don't see the big picture. They see the now. This show's doing great. It's a sold out show. I want everything. I want it all. I should be making everything on it. No, there's room for everybody to do well.
Of course.
Just it's a slow burn, And if you do that, you end up like Jason and Dwayne from 1904, and being in business with a venue for like 10 years, and then growing to fucking add a restaurant, and then growing to add another venue, and then growing to add another restaurant over that.
Yeah.
Like it's so important is to be part of. It's not us versus them.
Right.
And it's like that, and that sucks.
So when does it seem like that is the case? So like, because I'm very much in the same way of thinking that you are, and like we hear about bands all the time saying, well, like you got to pay your bands, and bands get screwed out of money, blah blah, which all those things do happen. But I'm curious as to why the industry has such a notorious reputation for that thing, and then when is it that the interests actually are not aligned, and when is it that they just seem like they're not aligned, but they actually are aligned?
So I think that's a good question. So here's the thing, right, with promoters. There's promoters that I know that people don't like because of how they've acted in the past. However, I could agree with that, but then I see how the promoters are now, and they've grown. They've become different. With being in 2021, if you're a bad promoter, fucking, you're getting put on blast.
Oh yeah.
And it's gonna get out there quick, and people are not gonna fuck with you. So things are different, I think, than they were. However, I still think that the stigma still holds. The greedy promoter guy. But I think, I know so many people that are fucking awesome people that believe in similar. How I think, where they want everything to be successful. They want everyone to grow. There's so many people doing it now that you didn't have for a while because they were able to get away with it. But now, I think if you're a shitty booking agent, you're only going to last so long before you just get outed. So things I think are getting better. You can't really be that much of a monster and keep on getting away with it these days.
Right.
And I know people are like, cancel culture this or whatever. I'm like, it's not always cancel culture. It's more like consequence culture.
Yeah.
Like, look, if you're that dude that was fucking, he owned a place at the beach. I don't know his fucking name. I never dealt with him. But he owned a place at the beach at one point. Then he like owned some place in Murray Hill. And there was this whole group thread. I don't remember the fucking dude's name. But
I remember what happened. I remember seeing that. That was like within the last like 2 years, right?
Yeah, dude, it was bad. It was online, and the dude was just online, just talking shit openly about people and all this stuff, dude. And he sounds like a horrible person, I never met him, but I'm like, dude, like the things that you're saying are really fucking horrible. And he disappeared.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of him since. So it's like, you make the bed that you're laying.
Bad business is bad business, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, where you could get away with it at some point back in the day.
Totally. Yeah.
It's hard. You can't just call everybody and give someone a bad name. Where now you could leave reviews, you could leave comments, you could talk to all these friends that you're in you're in tour circle with, because you send out a mass email to one agency and they send it out to their friends, and boom. you're done.
Well, yeah, I mean that's kind of like the blessing and the curse
Yes.
of the transparency in today's society, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, to me, I feel like what can really solve a lot of the issues where we feel this idea where our interests are competing, like the idea that bands have to not like promoters, or promoters have to feel shitty about bands, and venue owners have to be insecure about whatever's going on. And agents have to be whatever. Like the reason why things, I think, are the way that they are is because the education of what it actually means to like do these things.
Yeah.
It's not understood amongst all parties what actually goes into each individual job, right? So it's like, well, why is the promoter getting 15% of the show? They didn't do anything. It's like, well, no, I mean, they structured the entire deal. They hopefully, I mean, maybe they made a flyer for the show. Like maybe they're also juggling like 20 other shows at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a lot of things that go into that thing. Well, why is my manager getting this? Well, because your manager is literally communicating to everybody else, your agent and the promoter and everybody else, as to what needs to get done. Your agent's doing this because they're putting you in the venue, right? Like everybody has a role to play. If we all just understand what the role is, then we don't have to feel like our interests are competing, right?
Yeah, I agree. So it's funny. I laugh at that because the reason I was late is because I'm in the middle of facilitating a deal with a band that I work with, that I manage, and it's these little itty bitty details that I'm getting caught up in that they have no clue. And I'm not saying this like woe is me at all. I'm just saying on the management side of it, it's funny because there's so many little things that people don't realize, that managers don't even realize till they're dealing with it. But that's why I was late, is because I was caught up handling things like that.
You trying to fulfill a rider, bro?
No, not at all. Just contract stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff that like you just kind of don't know about until you run into it. And it's all good stuff, but it's funny because the band won't know about it. And I'm not really going to get into it with them because I have to explain the whole thing, and it's like time consuming. I mean, obviously, it's not something that affects them to where they need to know.
Right.
In that circumstance, it's they already know the details. They don't need to know the minute details of how I got there.
Right.
But it's funny that you say that.
But sometimes they do though, because then it lends like validation to why you earn what you earn on the show.
Yeah, I mean that's true too. But I think they know.
They trust you enough. Hopefully, they trust you enough to just handle it.
They do.
Yeah. So yeah, that's always been an aspect of it. It's been like very curious to me as to why everyone seems like our interests are competing when it's like a rising tide lifts all boats. You know what I mean?
That's exactly it. Yeah.
You say.
I was just gonna say what you said earlier, but I'm gonna Sherlock
Double down.
Holmes to Watson sort of deal on this.
I like that.
It's like you said, like the bands are like, well, what are you fucking doing? Like we fucking wrote all these songs, we're practicing, we're doing everything else, social media, etc., writing albums and all that shit, and then we're gonna give you 50% because you said that we get to play your show, because that's all that they see. If they're dumbos,
right?
And I have to add that little asterisk onto it because they don't know what it is. But that is most of the time, because usually there's some person who's either handling all of it, or if it's not the band leader, it's the manager or booking agent or whatever. And all they see, every band mate or whatever that is not dealing with any of that, all they see is that 15%. They're like. And then they'll get to a show and like maybe it didn't do so well or whatever like that, and then there'll only be like half of the expected guests, and they're like, you got to give him 50% or them for what? What do they do? Well,
that's the thing. Is like I'm very big on like.
But it's a very narrow-minded view. Is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think that that's why it's important to wait and to get like before you seek representation. Wait and like. Learn how the game works yourself and navigate this terrain on your own before you start to seek representation, because the thing is, like, there's a lot that you won't understand that they're doing if you don't actually, like, when I worked at Guitar Center, like they wouldn't hire you unless you've worked in every position in the store. You need to work the
Oh,
warehouse.
nice. I
You
know
need to
that.
work the floor.
I
You
like
need
that.
to work, whatever. And like they do that because they need you to understand what it means to actually be in these positions before
Yeah.
you start like being in charge of people.
And that's why Jeff Bezos should work in the warehouse. We all
Yeah.
agree.
Okay. So.
Imagine that.
Uh,
Isn't he busy sending shit to space?
He's
Yeah, that
busy
guy's probably
inside
never-
of a
That sound
dick
was-
ship to space.
Yeah,
Yes.
building a multi-billion-dollar industry is not fucking hard at all.
Yeah, he did it all
anyways,
himself. 100% himself.
Anyways, well, no, being a part of being a great business person and leader is
He's
being a great
working
delegator.
150 billion
That's
times
true.
harder than everybody else.
Doesn't matter. The point that
I'm
Not
sure
at
it's
all.
all on, on the up and up too.
yeah.
I'm sure.
Okay, but the overall point just being that like it's important to understand the different roles, and when you're managing, when you're a band that's self-managed and self-booked, you start to understand what goes into each of those things, and then sometimes you have to act as a promoter, early, especially early on when you're first booking shows and you don't even know that a promoter's like a thing, where you're just like, okay, I played at your venue, and the venue owner's just like, okay. Because the venue owner does not give a fuck. They're just gonna be like, yeah, okay, we'll put the show on.
Yeah.
There's like whatever, like either have a promoter or don't, but just like put the show on. And then like you put the show on, you're like, why is no one at my show? Well, we didn't have a flyer. Like, oh, why aren't we getting paid at the end of the night? Well, we didn't talk about what we were getting paid. How much are tickets for the show? Well, we didn't discuss that. Is there a ticket link? No one made a ticket link. Like just all the like what are the set times? Like how long are we playing for? All the little details, and there's and as the shows grow, obviously there's a lot more detail that goes in that. But like those are the things you learn early on that you can't fully appreciate if right out of the gate you just have representation, which is why people feel like they're getting fucked.
No, I know. Speaking of little details, what is the little detail that we probably don't know that a promoter does?
A little detail that a promoter does. I mean, a big thing is
The weirdest little detail, I guess.
well, a big thing is putting a show together.
Yeah.
Like there's some promoters who don't give a shit. There's some that do, but like the other night, I'm gonna go ahead and name drop some names here because we're gonna get some plugs in. But
This is a hate cast. So.
no, this is good stuff. This is good shit.
Okay,
so
good cast.
so with FYF Booking, who I produce and manage the events done by FYF in Jacksonville. We had Blacktop Mojo, great fucking rock and roll, kick-ass rock and roll band.
Yeah, man.
And they needed 3 openers because they're touring by themselves, which is cool because a lot of bands will have like their openers, and some bands are kind of assholes about openers. Some agents are assholes about it. It's
Totally.
kind of a weird thing that we run into these days.
Totally.
Openers have to be approved by management, and it's kind of like I get that in a sense, but at the same time, when you're dealing with someone reputable, just sit back and let the promoter do their job. Just like I'm letting you do your job with booking a band, with the agent. But that's a whole nother podcast.
But we know about bad promoters, right? And they've had their fair share.
And that's the problem. They do run
Yeah.
into that. But luckily in Jacksonville, we have bands that fit the bill. Like-minded people. They don't sound the same per se, but they're under the same umbrella.
Yeah, totally.
But Calford Town Band,
crushed it.
amazing.
By the way,
Holy
shout
shit!
out.
Probably the best I've seen them.
Oh my god,
Um,
yeah, they were amazing.
Actually, Annie Dukes, also best I've seen them, but I've only seen them twice. This is my second time seeing them.
I
but
missed them, unfortunately.
just oh my god, they're fucking amazing. They are amazing.
I heard it was a great set. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then Danger Bird. Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
Like there was-
shout out to John Ward. He's in that band. Our homie. He was on the show. A while
listen,
back.
holy shit. This whole show from start to finish was fucking amazing. Like I was so proud because I put those bands together with Blacktop, and Blacktop was saying how it was the best show that they've had consistently overall from start to finish. They were like, we play with some great bands, but then one of the bands isn't so hot. He's like, this band, or they were like, this lineup with bands was amazing through and through. And what's cool is we had the opportunity to get a couple of the bands on the Orlando show tonight because some things happened with the locals there where they had to drop off last minute. We're in the age of COVID, so things
Yeah,
like
that's
that
right.
happen, unfortunately.
Where are they playing at?
At Soundbar, which is a
Soundbar.
great fucking venue.
Did that used to be Back Booth?
It used to be Back Booth,
Okay,
and it's
I played
amazing.
there a while back ago. yeah.
Shout out to Jared from Soundbar, good friend who's the owner. But so it's cool because now these 2 great bands are playing, or 2 of the 3 great bands are playing in Orlando tonight, and I'm scrolling through the interwebs today, and I see Blacktop Mojo tagging the bands that they're playing with.
Nice.
Because they're stoked because they just fucking watched them the other night and they all became friends and they're tagging Annie Dukes and they're in pictures with Annie Dukes and commenting. And, you know, Blacktop is doing really well right now. They're playing a lot of the festival circuits and they're kicking ass. They're a great band. They work their asses off. They've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, they sound awesome.
It's cool because they're a band that could help other bands out. That's how it works, you know. So a little detail coming back to that is that I was able to put together this lineup, which in turn is helping the bands because they're playing for like-minded fans, to where Blacktop fans saw them, and now they're like, I'm buying this fucking band shirt, and I'm going to listen to them as soon as I get home because holy shit. And then the band is reaching out and liking the bands, and that, you know, that creates, you know, movement, you know, and
social media stuff, the cross-platforming is a big thing too.
It does. It's such a huge thing. So now, you know, it gives bands credibility because it's really hard, as you guys know, when you're trying really hard. It's really hard to get noticed by people you need to get noticed by. But people who are already there being noticed can very easily make phone calls, can talk about people, can get their fans going, hey, check out this band. You're probably going to like them. If you like us, you're going to like them.
Yeah.
And you like us, so you trust our opinion. We have a, you know, bigger scope than what these other bands do. So that's one thing. And you know, I take pride in that.
It's definitely an art to putting together like a cohesive show.
Right.
You know?
And it's not always easy. You know, and you can't always do that, of course. And it doesn't necessarily have to even be like-minded bands, though. Sometimes bands just fit together, even if they're not quite the same. And that's okay. That's awesome. That's what's great about music is, you know, it's funny because a lot of people don't realize, you know, my spectrum of taste. I'm a metalhead through and through, but, man, like, I love everything. Like, I love pop music. I love pop country. It's funny. I say country. Everybody just assumes I like outlaw country. I'm like, no, man, I like the pop country that people don't like. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion.
No, I assume everybody's talking about pop country now when they say I like country, just because that's kind of like the norm these days, unfortunately.
It's what it's become, but
yeah,
I love it.
It's catchy, man. It is
like
catchy.
you said, accessibility. I'm a fan of it, honestly. I love a good hook.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, so that's definitely one of the things. You know, sometimes you don't always make money, and you're trying to help the band out, and you're making sure the band gets taken care of before you do. That happens also, you know, and it is what it is. You just
with good promoters.
You go with it.
Well,
I
mean,
otherwise they're asking you for money.
The good promoters just at the bare minimum, which is what should be expected, is just honor the deal. Which means if you're losing money, then like that sucks, but you're losing money. And I've been on the end of it where where you skip the middleman and your band ends up being the promoter for the show, and I guarantee a band money, or I guarantee them a certain split, and it means that money comes out of my pocket. Then that's just what it is. You know what I mean? Or like, you know, you can ask the guys, especially earlier on in the band, when it was like, you know, we were guaranteeing rates for shows and stuff like
what do you
that.
mean?
Like with you. And,
when you used to pay me.
Well, we can rephrase that a little bit.
No,
when I
we
would
can't.
guarantee you.
I mean, that's it.
When when you get guaranteed a certain amount of money per show,
I'm
and
still
then
guaranteed the same amount.
Yeah.
Or it's zero.
That's not true. Where it was like if even if the band was like collectively was in a deficit that weekend, or whatever it was, you still got the money that you were promised. And I think that's like a very important thing to establish credibility. You know, otherwise people don't want to work. Like if you lose money and you're like, well, sorry, man, I know the deal was this, but you know, we didn't make any money. It's like, well, that's not really my fault, is it? I showed up and did the show. I helped to promote the event, did whatever I could. And if it didn't work, then I still got to get, you know, so the deal has to be honored. You know what I mean?
Deal always has to be honored. Now, you could talk about things.
Yeah, totally.
You can say, hey, listen. And if everybody wants to adjust, that's cool. But nobody has to adjust. It is what it is.
Right.
You fucking don't make a deal if you can't stick by it. And that's the simple fucking keep your word shit. I mean, that's, and I guess a lot of people don't always do that. But, you know, don't offer a guarantee that you don't have. You know, don't do it. Just don't do it. And you know, there's times where some bands that I absolutely love would ask for just money that I'm like, we're not gonna make that money. I can't book that show.
Yeah.
I want to book you guys. I would love to book you guys, but I'm not doing that much money.
It's the importance of having like having like different cap rooms in a city. It really helps to grow your market, because I mean Jacksonville's got the population. There's not that many cities in America that have over 1 million people, and Jacksonville is one of them. We have the population. We don't have the venues that can support like that next thing. So let's say if a band's asking for a certain amount of money and you're looking at the numbers and you're like, there's no way that like we're gonna make this money back. That's literally just because we don't have a room to put you in, man. Like our biggest cap before the Florida Theater is what, 600 right now?
Yeah, 600 Underbelly. So it's
stoked
a big jump.
I'm stoked that Underbelly is there, and congratulations to those guys for opening and doing their thing. We need another venue between the 600 cap to what's Florida Theater like?
I think Florida Theater is 20 or 2100 or something like
yeah,
that.
Oh, wow.
that's huge.
Something like that. It's and even so, with Florida Theater, it's a theater. Like here's the thing, right? Like if you're gonna go see a kick-ass metal band. And I've seen metal bands at Florida Theater. It's just not exciting, dude, to fucking sit there at a fucking show.
Right.
And not even just a good rock and roll show, dude. I went to see Michael McDonald at Florida Theater, and I'm like, I don't want to fucking sit and watch Michael McDonald, dude. Like, I like Michael McDonald. I want to stand and fucking cheer and fucking, like, sing his songs with him. Like, I don't want to sit during a show, personally. I'm not into that. Like, and I know it's different demographic, but, there's not a lot of rooms. I mean, there's Ponte Vedra Music Hall.
It's only 500 cap though, right?
I don't know what the cap is there.
Yeah, it's pretty small. And it's still sit down, I think.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
I think it's flexible. I think they could do both. I think they have seating if they need to. But yeah, it's just it's kind of out of the way. It's not really very accessible to a lot of people. It's there's definitely a little bit of a hole missing. We don't have that 1,000.
We need that 1,000 cap room. That's what we need. That 1,000 cap room.
And there was Mavericks. Mavericks was there for a bit.
I was about to say, yeah.
Was it? Were they 1,000?
They were 1,100 from what I understand.
1,100, really?
But I
wow.
can tell you, man. Like, and I'm not trying to talk shit, and I'm not. I'm just saying. I'm sure there are artists who do like it, but there's some artists who didn't like that place, and they would play smaller rooms, take a pay cut, and cut their production to not play there.
I've heard weird things about that place. Anyways, I've never been, but I've just always heard bad things about it just from people.
I could say it had a lot of potential.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a bunch of buildings downtown that look like they need something going on in them, so I'm sure we could figure out a good 1,000 cap. Let's just go in on a business endeavor together. Let's just open up a venue. Since we all know what's going on here.
1,000 cap room. I mean, like.
I know that's a hard thing to
How many
find.
square feet you need
yeah,
for that? Like,
I actually don't know the answer to that. That'd be a good question to
That's
ask
a good
somebody.
question.
Yeah. Okay, so I really.
What was Freebird? Freebird was like $750, wasn't it?
I think $699 was its actual capacity.
Yeah.
I think was the number.
Well,
we
can get it. Let's
close.
talk about overselling shows, shall we? That's always a fun topic that no one talks about.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's illegal.
Not really when you take into account the logistics of the whole thing, right?
Not when you take in the
it's
fire
just-
marshals.
Right?
order,
Yeah,
it
fire
is
marshals
very
come
illegal.
in and they don't like shit like that for some reason.
Well, let's be honest. When is it actually at full cap in the room? And that's why we oversell shows, right?
Right.
And we take into account that people
who
leave.
do 'em, not we, but other people.
Yeah,
who
when
do
other
it.
people do, right? Sorry, I
Right,
didn't. I
right.
wasn't. I've never played a sold out room before. Let's be
Ever.
honest.
I played an elevator before. I mean,
Yeah.
That's pretty
you
sick.
can only fit that many people in there.
Yeah.
Right?
You sold out show.
It's sold out.
So, yeah, I mean, like the idea of like people leaving once their band stops playing, or people just going out for a cigarette break, or just wanting to take a break for like the room, might maintain 80% like the whole time. So you can always sell a little bit more. If you have a 300 cap room, you probably sell 400 safely.
I guess it depends on what it is, but there's sometimes where people don't come out to the show that have tickets that don't come out.
Yeah.
Don't use them, and they let you know ahead of time or something, so you know that. But
It's just innovative thinking, really.
yeah,
Yeah.
you have to be. Now there's a lot of COVID cancellations. People say, "Hey, I'm not going to go because of COVID," and
So here's something that I've been dying to ask you about the whole time. But I wanted to get your background on that first. I need to understand the metal scene and the hip hop scene and the punk scene, and you seem to have a lot more understanding of that world than certainly we have. What's the deal? Why do you guys have like 8 bands on a bill, and why does nobody ever make any money?
So, well, there's definitely money to be made. There's a weird thing in there.
I know.
It's like you make none or you make a lot.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the kind of metal, because some metal is literally only 2 bands, and that's going to fill the whole fucking show.
Sorry.
And you can't, their gear is ridiculous, and you get more of the underground metal bands, and yeah, it's a little different. They come from a different world. They have more of a punk rock ethos, I guess you could say. But I don't know. Like it's not mainstream. You can only charge so much. People have this whole
a jam
thing.
world though either, and these guys are making tons of money.
Yeah, a lot of jam fans are tend to be in. Some of them are in an older bracket, so they can afford more because they have more money.
That's true.
Yeah.
Where a lot of the metals is a weird thing, because metal can mean 30 different things.
Sure.
Even punk, you got Bad Religion selling out House of Blues and shit like that. Lagwagon, we did at the amphitheater in St. Augustine and crushed it. We did however many people, I can't remember, it was like over 1,000, but great. So some bands are crushing it. Some bands are able to do it, but like the underground ones that are still doing it, it's a lot of it is passion and love, and it's comes with the territory that they grew up playing warehouses or VFW halls for $5 to get in. That's kind of a weird thing to me, and it's I have to explain it to people a lot of times. It's put some worth on yourself, like value yourself as an artist. Charging $10 these days is not a lot of money.
Not at all.
It's a very fair price, and anybody who wants to see live music and who gives a shit should be able to afford $10. And if they complain about that, then maybe you don't want them as fans.
Totally.
Because, you do have to make money as an artist. It's fucking fact. You have to make money as an artist. Promoters need to make money. Venues need to make money. All that shit costs money. It is what it is. You need equipment. You need gear. You could have shitty equipment. It still costs money. Everything costs money to get there. Everything's money. Time is money. And, a lot of people in those genres, if they don't see $8 on it, anything under $10 they'll go to, but otherwise too much. And I'm like, that's kind of fucked up. It's kind of changing. It's changing, I think. But they're just so used to those underground shows that if it's more than $5, then they're sellouts. And I'm like, what the
Right.
I don't even believe in the sellout term. Like, what the fuck is a sellout? Like, a sellout is fucking going to a fucking job you hate every fucking day, doing some bullshit where if you're playing music, you love it. Even if it's not music you particularly love, it's still playing music. It's still better than fucking going and working some fucking, I don't know, janitor job somewhere. Like, no offense, people love doing that, but
no, 100%, man. That's kind of where I was getting at. I'm like, well, if it's for the love of music, then do you love working a regular job and then going on the road and like I don't know, struggling for a week or 2 weeks and then coming home to work a regular job and then I don't know, just to live. It's like most people that work regular jobs, either 9 to 5s, they get their 2 weeks paid vacation, they have their insurance and their benefits. Like, that's the life that they're trying, that in that scene seems to be like rebelling against, but yet it seems to be the life that they're living. They go on they go on the road, they might play and headline even huge festivals in that world, but then don't walk away with anything, and then you're going back and working a regular job just so you can go and work for the weekend again, which seems kind of I don't know, counterintuitive for the rebellion aspect of the genre,
Yeah, it is, and I think it's kind of a means to an end, because here's the thing, right? When you're old and you're talking to your grandkids, you're not going to talk about working at some fucking office job, right? Like, who the fuck remembers working at an office job except for how fucking miserable it is?
Right.
Some people like it, and that's awesome, but some people can't do that. Like, some people, it's not instilled with them. Me being one of them. But,
Same.
I'm going to have tons of stories to tell my kid about fucking shows and bands that she listens to. Be like, oh, yeah, I booked them. Oh, that band came through. Those are experiences. I went on the road. I went and toured here, and I was at this city.
Yeah, man.
Like, that's experience, and you can't put a dollar amount on that, really. So it's kind of, it's a labor of love, and sometimes it is just enough money to keep you doing it, and it kind of almost gets you in that cycle to where, well, I can't stop touring, because if I stop touring, I'm gonna have to get that shitty job.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm gonna have to put this album out and go tour and bust my ass in the van. because we're making just enough, but we're not getting past that certain point, but we're at least surviving. So I got to keep on doing it, which is office jobs or something like that.
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
times you get stuck paycheck to paycheck. You can't quit that job because you're dependent on that paycheck, and it's the whole cycle that they got us in. But sometimes that happens with music, which is probably the better cycle to be in, though.
I guess, but when it stints creativity and like you get stuck in the rut, it's like it's probably more unfulfilling to be in that rut because you're so passionate about this thing that you don't have any
Control over it.
Yeah.
not even control, but you just don't have it, like you don't have any more inspiration for it, you know, and that's like
you get burned out.
the ultimate defeat is feeling like there's no inspiration for this thing that you're so passionate about, you know.
I was gonna say we were talking about this earlier about what it really means to be a musician, and what it really means is that you have to be like on the streets, like you have to be so poor.
You have to be overdrawn in your bank account.
Yeah.
You have to have a girlfriend who's always threatening to leave you. You have to have at least 2 vehicles that aren't fully working.
But you do have 2 vehicles, and you put them together, that's 1.
And it's 1. Yeah.
And addiction helps.
An addiction helps.
definitely
Oh
helps.
God, does addiction help?
Outstanding bar tab at every place that you've ever
Shitty
been.
parents.
Shitty
parents
parents.
is a
Oh
great
my
one.
God, you're preach. And we could also I have a great dad though. And then we could you also have to have what was it? Fuck, there was this one thing.
Literally,
you have to be the most unreliable human being in the world.
Yeah.
Just make sure that nobody can take your word that seriously.
And make sure
But
that,
also show up sometimes, so they'll still show up to your shows, right?
and make sure that no loan officer will ever look at your credit score and not start laughing.
Yeah. Oh my God,
Anything
guys.
below
Let's talk
400,
about it.
If you don't have a credit score below 400, then you're not really.
You're not
Are you
doing
even
it
really
right.
doing
You're not
it?
doing it right.
You're not fucking
You're
doing
not
Doing it
gonna
right.
make
But you
it
probably
out
got
of the-
cool fucking shoes.
Oh,
And you definitely have a cool jacket.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure have a cool jacket. Bro,
and one pair of pants.
I made it.
What?
I was
Steven's white pants.
Yeah.
Bro, I was took it out of my mouth, bro. No. So I made this. I
Shout out,
love
Steven.
you, Steve.
He wasn't wearing those the other night, by the way.
he wasn't.
No? Was he wearing just underwear then?
No, bro. I was making this joke because what was the headlining band called?
Blacktop Mojo.
Blacktop Mojo. They had this like huge tour bus in the front.
Gigantic.
And I walk into the venue and I see Steve up with Cowford, just fucking ultimate rock star mode.
He
and I
is
just like
a rock star.
I look
dude.
over
I
at
love it.
Chelsea and
I
I
love
was just like, that bus, that's just Steve's bus. That's like not for the rest. That's just Steve's bus.
Oh, amazing. I
Hey,
love this.
can we talk about her
That's a-
fucking crushing the
Underbelly?
grand opening at Underbelly? Because holy shit.
I've heard great things. I wasn't there,
She
unfortunately.
fucking killed it, guys.
Really? They did a
It
good job?
sounded so amazing in that
Awesome.
song. What a great
Hell
band
yeah.
they are.
They're I mean,
So
her
much
and
fun.
Chris do an amazing job, like just keeping the thing going, man, and writing these awesome songs. And yeah, she's super talented, and Chris is a great guitar player. And together they have like a great partnership, man. It's
Yeah.
really I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what happens with them for sure. Yeah, so I just this thing with like that scene though, it seems so like
What's the deal with the
8 bands
and they
on
play
one
20
bill?
minutes? I don't get that.
So-
I've never been to one though, so I can't. I'm talking out of my.
Well,
ass
yeah,
right now.
here's the thing, right? Like, if you go, you get it. Because the energy is way fucking... I don't give a shit. It's cool as fuck, right?
Yeah.
Like, the energy in it is fucking wild. And, again, metal, it depends on what you talk about. Because, Judas Priest is the kings of metal, and, it's just them and another band. But, like the younger guys, there are... sometimes 5, 6 bands, sometimes 8. It depends on what it is. But you know why? Because everybody wants to play with their friends. Everybody gets excited to be like, oh my god, I want to play with that band. That band sounds cool. And then you're like, well, cool, man. We'll just do 20-minute sets, and then we'll share gear. And so it just kind of it's a very family oriented scene. The underground scene is very family oriented. There's obviously drama, of course, like
yeah, totally.
where isn't, but it's very close knit. People make best friends with people like from everywhere, even if they're not in bands. Just especially now, it's just easier like to connect. So they'll go to festivals and they'll have their festival friends, and then they want to travel to different cities.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, so and then a band's touring through, and they're like, oh shit, we're gonna be in that city at the same time. Well, shit, we'll just combine shows.
Yeah.
Because we're not greedy. We're gonna try to look out for each other, and we fucking shared a van at some point. On a different tour together, so fuck it, we'll just make one big show out of it, and that happens all the time. It's that community thing again.
Yeah.
Is really what it comes down to.
Do you feel like have you ever come across any promoters or people on the back end of it that might have been a little bit predatory entering that scene, just given the nature of the musicians?
I deal with it on a yearly basis, maybe more than yearly in Jacksonville, where it's like fucking clockwork. Someone's gonna pop up. What the fuck are you doing? And they might not necessarily have the wrong intentions, but they don't have the right mindset, and they fuck things up, and they start
Give us an example.
taking advantage of things.
You have to name any names. I just like I like the dirt. I want to know what to look out for, just in case it starts to happen to us too. You know.
Well, an example. There's people who do the promises that they're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
And they don't know any better. They think, because they see an amount of people at a show, they think that a show is making this much money, but it's not making that much money. And then they'll promise bands something. The band's first time through Jacksonville or whatever city it might be that shitty promoters happen. They don't follow through with their promises, and it makes your city look bad.
Yeah,
believe it or
totally.
not, it really does. It's a bad reflection on your city. There are some people, some promoters that when they overpromise a band money, maybe they did get paid that money when they came through. However, there was money lost on the show. But now the band, it comes back around. That promoter's gone because they lost fucking money on fucking 3 shows and lost their ass, and they're done now. So when the band comes back through, they're like, well, last time we played there, we got paid $1,000, so we should get paid $1,500 this time. When realistically, they should have got paid $500, and then now a band got overpaid, so to speak.
Okay.
That happens also. You drive the price up, and not to be an asshole, but just some bands just aren't worth what their asking prices from agents, and agents sometimes will. There are some agents out there. Not all, believe it or not, there are some agents that will take advantage of promoters like that.
Oh,
and then it becomes a promoter and agent problem. But, bands are just, doing their thing. There's promoters that will put bands on from out of town when it should be more of a slot for a local band who's earned their right to be on like a bigger show or something like that.
Right.
There's things like that happen.
Happened so many times to me.
It's kind of aggravating to where you're like, yo, man, like there's so many bands that would fit this tour package that this happens in hip hop world with some people where they get paid, they're paid to play.
Right.
And I'm not mad, yo, people want to pay to play, that's up to you. I don't personally do that. But if an artist wants to pay to play, that's cool, but here's the problem, right? So you have this hip-hop guy coming through, and he does sells decent amount of tickets, whereas you could have put on locals, because hip-hop, you kind of stack the bill, because they play short sets, there's no changeover, really.
Right.
So, but there's a lot of talented dudes in Jacksonville, but you could go, hey, here's these amount of tickets, you go sell them, you make money off of each ticket you sell, I don't need money up front or any of that shit, just go hustle, go work, bring your people out.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're playing a bigger show. So you should be on the next level. If you want to be on that next level, then bring a handful of people, right? Instead, there's promoters who will be like, oh, cool, this dude from Indiana just gave me $1,000. You could play the show. So now you get to the show, and you have a few rappers on there that aren't from Jacksonville, and the headliner's playing for 200 people, whereas if the locals were on it instead of openers from different areas that nobody knows, you could have had them selling tickets in the market, which would have been the local hip hop artists promoting themselves, and in turn bringing more people out, playing for other people because there's other rappers that are playing the show, so they're kind of trading off fans,
right?
And now. But you're bringing the fans in, and there's more people in a room. So now the headliner goes on stage. He's like, oh, shit, the room's full, right? There's a lot of people in here. The bar's full. The bar's doing better. So it's the whole community's doing better.
Right.
So the promoter can just easily go, well, it's easier for me to just get money from this dude, put it in my pocket. I don't give a shit what he does after that. But that sucks. That's cool for you as a promoter. But what does that do for everyone else? It doesn't make the show better.
That's crazy to think of somebody paying you
Well-
to just
that's
play the show.
A huge thing. Yeah.
You have to.
Huge
So,
thing.
so
it's a
I
very
don't
big
know
thing.
why I never thought of that before.
It's a
know
very big thing.
it's a huge thing, and it doesn't just happen in the hip hop community. It
No,
happens.
it's everything.
It was
yeah.
a big thing down south. Do you remember when I was first
Oh, yeah,
getting
down
started?
South is very big.
Yeah, man. When I was first getting started, there was a lot of instant situations where I would encounter that just playing like solo acoustic guitar just to get on a show or something. And I know I think
Wait, you paid to play it for shows?
when I was first getting started, yeah, when I was like late teens, yeah, like
It's
I
a
was,
thing in big city like Miami,
cities,
and
my-
LA.
I guess I get it.
NYC.
I'm like, I feel like naive thinking that people would actually do that, but like, damn, that makes me so mad.
because you have to because everyone's trying to get on those shows, you know.
I
But-
get it, but you're supposed to get on it because you're talented.
Yeah, but and
Because you
I
have
know
money.
and I think you may not have somebody in mind, but I think I know who you might be talking about on some level. But there's
Oh, I got a few people in mind for
Yeah,
sure. I was
there's-
talking about real life situations.
oh.
Absolutely.
Is that a company, or are you just saying like real life situations, like as a that's just what it is?
No, there's definitely people who are out
Oh.
there that do that. Like
It's I thought there was a company.
Worst band name ever.
There's
I thought there was a
companies that do it
company
too.
called Real Life Situations.
there is?
Yeah,
Oh.
no, I was saying I thought there was.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Anyways,
like the worst name ever. Why would you
yeah,
think that?
I don't know, but
Real life situation.
but the scenario that you're talking about, people don't necessarily think about the community as much, especially when you're talking about third party promotion companies that aren't local.
Yep.
That's the
That's
key
usually
right
what
there.
it is.
That's yeah, and I like there's one company that I know, I won't say, but I know for sure that's like that because they operated in South Florida too, and I've seen them operate here, and I know the deal. So it's like they probably operate
You're talking
everywhere.
about Paris Hilton?
But
which
it's
was
just,
Mavericks, was Club Paris before it was Mavericks.
I
by the way.
remember. And she was going to open
Really?
it all up. Yeah, in high school. I
It
remember
did
that.
open
It did
for a
open.
second.
And
she
Jacksonville was
she
like, nah.
She never showed
Yeah.
up.
Oh, she never showed up.
Yeah, she didn't show up.
Oh, this is the place they were talking about.
During
I
the
remember
Super
hearing
Bowl.
about that.
It was a
Yeah,
Super Bowl
I
time.
remember. Yeah, it was 2004.
You're like, this didn't work out.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, like those are the kinds of things, man. It's important, especially as a smaller venue, to kind of like keep your people local, you know, because then the interests of the community are in mind, and then like the interest of the venue and all the bands are it all just kind of like but it's those scenes are just it's a wild thing to me, man, because like for me it's like obviously we don't operate in a scene that's like a pop market, so like in the jam band thing or whatever, like there's still an aspect of it where you're not trying to sell out, but there's also this aspect of it where these people are a lot of them, they do kind of like operate in the pop world, some of them like as producers or whatever,
Right.
but like their bands still make money, and like for me I don't see why that's a problem to like try and like to grind and like and be like financially successful at the thing.
I think it's phenomenal when people are successful in music. I don't care if you're playing in a country band that you might, because a lot of country artists are metalheads or punk dudes.
Oh yeah, just do what you
And
got to do.
They're playing like in country bands because they got hired because they're great players, and sometimes you just don't make it. I mean, not everybody can make it in music, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes you got to get in where you fit in, and if you're able to make a career out of that, hell yeah, dude! Like that's the way to go.
How
Like
how about John Five, bro?
Oh, John
Fucking,
Five's a beast, dude. He
Marilyn
is-
Manson, and also like one of the best country players you've ever
Absolutely,
heard.
dude. One of the
It's-
I didn't know
nicest dudes you'll ever meet, too, man. He
I've heard.
is an absolute gem. I've worked with him a lot.
nice.
Doing the festival circuits and whatnot, and the dude is the real deal. One of the most legit, super weird dude too, man. Like it's very like everything you see about him is 1,000% him, dude. He's a fucking weirdo and a super nice dude. And
That's
it's
why it
awesome.
works, right?
It's
He's
awesome.
authentic.
He's very authentic.
That's what
And
it's all
man,
about.
can that man fucking play the fucking guitar, dude?
Yeah, he's amazing.
Whew. Amazing.
So I'm curious. You mentioned something about bands that are asking for this, that should really only be asking for this. When do you think that a band should be asking for more money in a certain market once they've kind of proven their worth in the market? Like, what do you need to see as a promoter to see to see that's a viable ask?
I mean, just admission, just people coming out.
Yeah.
Now we could, you could look at stuff online, find out hype, which is cool. That helps a lot nowadays. Where before, like, fuck, man, I have no clue how this show is gonna do. You just kind of wing it, and you're kind of hoping the agent's not bullshitting you, But some bands just ask for too much money, though, and like, and it's okay to. Some bands start with the whole haggle thing. You
Mhm.
start higher, and someone goes lower, and then you meet in the middle, kind of thing.
Right, of course.
I get that, but you know, sometimes you're just like, man, let's just cut through the bullshit. Let's make it fucking. We're all being fair here. I get what you're doing, but if I'm gonna book you, let's go here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not trying to fucking lowball you.
You have to, but you for sure know that you're one of the good ones, right? Because most people are trying to like save some extra money, which is why we as bands have to haggle a little bit, because we have to start a little bit higher sometimes.
Yeah.
Because most people, like I've just learned this, that if you don't ask, you're just not going to get.
Right.
You know, like rarely are they just is the promoter or the talent buyer just going to give you what they have access to, right?
And you know, I'm never against bands asking ever. It's kind of annoying if I get an email from a band I've never worked with before, and they're like, you know, hey, we want like $700, and I'm like, probably not going to give that to you, right? Like,
Yeah.
I've never worked with you. You're hitting me up directly. You don't have an agent. You know, I don't know why you would be asking for that. Now, you don't always get that, but you know, $100, $150. Now I'm like, all right, this band's like trying to be realistic,
Right.
you know, and then it looks better. You try to work with bands like that, honestly. I do anyway. I'm like, all right, that's a realistic number. Let's work with it. Let's see what we can do. I won't always promise. It depends on the band. Sometimes I'm just like, look, we'll do a really good door deal. Door deals sometimes are fucking great, especially with bigger artists. There's some artists that do tour on door deals, and
That's what Tim Hall was telling us.
It's smarter because they make more money that way.
Yeah.
Honestly, like a fucking good door deal, you make more money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times, you know, you'll tell it to an agent who's trying to sell you a band. You're like, dude, I don't feel that the market is good for $2,500. Oh no, they're gonna do the numbers. They're definitely guaranteed to do numbers. I'm like, all right, cool, let's do a door deal then. Well, no, we don't want to do that. I'm like, well, why not? Like, you're making more that way.
Right.
Now you're showing me that you're fearful that it's not going to do the numbers. You know, why is that? And you know, I get door deals are scary because there are promoters who don't care. But to me, I'm like, you know, a show is a show. I'm going to try to do what I can for all of them. You know.
Well, there's a lot of
Maybe-
factors, you know, like you know, weather could be a factor, and there's
Yeah.
things like, you know, what night of the week is it?
Mhm.
Like, what's your market look
Yep.
like? I mean, we might know we can do numbers on like a Friday, but we're coming through on a Wednesday because you might not be in a market, so like we don't know for sure that we're gonna pull this thing, so we need a guaranteed, so we just know we're gonna get to the next city.
Competing
so-
shows is a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. So
There's a
it's
lot.
like I can understand the hesitancy of an agent to ask for a guarantee and then pull back and say we don't want a door deal, depending on certain factors. But like, yeah, I definitely, like Tim Hall was saying that he was like most of like the really big bands aren't even doing guarantees. Like that's just like because they for sure know they're gonna sell, and like you're gonna make a lot more money that way.
Yeah.
Which is awesome to me. I would love to get to that point.
Have you ever tasted heaven in a glass? Do you pine for the hoppiest brews and palest ales? Do you like food? If so, then Wicked Barley is the oasis that your mouth has been wishing for, walking into the complete barren wasteland that is your life. Wicked Barley is located in Jacksonville, Florida, nestled on the banks of Goodbeast Creek. Wicked Barley aims to provide its guests with a wicked experience, offering over 18 house-brewed beers, ciders, and meads on tap. They also have an expansive gastropub-style food menu, including burgers, salads, sandwiches, and more. Whether you are a newcomer or a craft beer connoisseur, there's a little something for everyone at Wicked Barley. Visit them at 4100 Bay Meadows Drive and tell them Bottom of the Bill sent you.
I'm curious as to like what are some like deal structures that you feel work, like what are your favorite like deals to work out basically? Like what do you like to see that they almost ensures a good night for everybody?
I mean, you just honestly do like a fair number and then a fair back end. You know, like a back end deal. Like after expenses are covered, you get paid this much money. I cover expenses, and then you get 70% of that.
Right.
After all that's done.
Right.
Those are usually my favorite deals. Obviously, paying back end is the promoter's dream because that means the show's doing fucking great.
Right.
Right. When you're able to pay a band more money than you promised them, that's fucking awesome. Like that means it was a success, right? Everybody's winning. You get to pay staff, you get to pay the venue, everybody's winning.
And
right?
and for people to that's a guarantee plus percentage of the sales after the expenses are paid. Okay.
Right. So yeah, you know, you'd pay out. Sometimes you just do a door split. So you just be like, hey, you know, you guys are gonna get 80% after I cover my expenses at the venue. My expenses are $500. After that $500, you're getting 80%, and then I'm getting 20. But that's, you know, it's a lot of times you do a guarantee. You're gonna get $500. I'm gonna pay everything I need to pay, and then after all that's done, you're gonna make 70% after that.
Right.
So, and it's a win-win. You know, it's a win-win for everyone that way. Those are my favorite, to be honest. Just cut and dry. I don't like to get complicated on deals. There's some deals that get really complicated, like versus deals and shit. I'm like, I don't want to fuck with all that. Like, let's keep it simple. Let's not try to get like fucking, you know, Albert Einstein about these fucking numbers and shit, which some people try to do.
Bro, some of these contracts I've got sent from talent buyers at like not even like crazy venues are just like, I need to have a law degree to look through this and like figure out what this means.
I hate it.
I've literally gone to like other agents and been like, hey man, what does this mean?
What does this mean? Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, so this means this, this, and this, and it's like, fuck, man, like especially it's like when it's a newer venue and like you know, or whatever, like or we're a band that's like not even like that well known, where it's just like, okay, you know, that doesn't need, like, you could just offer us like this amount with a back end or just a door split and we would have been fine with that, but you want to factor in all these other things here.
It gets weird.
I'm just like, I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about anymore, like, literally.
And I kind of feel like it's done by design sometimes.
Yeah, well, it is, man. It's like what they it's the same shit, not to get political, it's the same shit they do with those, like when they're passing a bill through the Senate or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, we're talking
Yes.
about one fucking thing here and you got to make 1,000 pages and factor in all this other bullshit that's completely unrelated. That's literally how some of these contracts, when I get them, look. I mean, obviously not 1,000 pages. It's usually like 1 or 2 pages, but it's like the way that it's just all laid out. I'm like, what is this? Okay, what is this? What is this? I'm just, we don't need any of this shit.
You're like, you know, look, when you get into like Coliseum shit, I get it. It's
Yeah.
different. But come on now. Yeah. Bands like
You don't even agree. You don't even have a green room. What are we talking about?
yeah,
You know what I mean?
1,000 cap and under doesn't need to get that sophisticated.
Exactly.
It just doesn't. You know, whatever. That's how I feel. I think shit's corny as fuck.
And for people that don't know, there's all kinds of weird shit. There's ticketing fees. There's like,
there's so
food,
much.
There's food buyouts. There's like
Parking fees.
parking fees,
Box office fees.
Like, yeah, all kinds of weird shit that they start getting into where you're just like, what are we? We're a band that has like not that big of a following, and you're a venue that nobody knows about, and we're playing in a market that no one's even heard of before. You don't even, again, you don't even have a green room. What are we talking about here?
You know what I'm not a fan of? I can tell you.
What's that?
I'll be honest. I hate doing hotel rooms and shit like that.
Really?
I hate it.
You hate
Unless
it?
it's like a fly-in thing specifically that's different. You know, there's the situations where I get it. But usually, for the most part, like if a band's on tour or artist is on tour, I'm not fucking with your hotel rooms, dude. Do your own hotel room. Dude.
Yeah.
That's not part of my thing. It's like, I'm paying you for a performance, not anything else beyond that. And you know, again, that's not when you're doing festivals and flying people in or shit. That's different. Of course, it's different. But for the most part, like when people are just on tour and like they're gonna be passing through and you know they're gonna need 8 hotel rooms. I'm like,
8 hotel rooms.
oh yeah. I've seen that.
No
there's
shit.
there's a contract, or not a contract, email that I had with the offer, and that's was the basic hospitality is, you know, they're gonna need 8 rooms, and of course you're gonna say, no, we're gonna do half that, and they're like, okay, but I'm like, no, we're gonna do none of that. If they're on tour, they're on tour. That has nothing to do with me, like how they're doing that, you know.
Typically, you give them a buyout on that, though, right? I mean, if you're not going to factor, if you don't want to offer as a service, well, we can tag on an extra so and so into the guarantee.
If
you need
it's
hotels.
warranted for me to facilitate a place to say yes, I'd rather just do it as a buyout and you guys figure it out. Because
we've had that happen a couple times where it was just like, why don't I just give you a buyout on the room, and we're say okay, or I'm just like, okay, yeah, we can do that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, also if you're playing like a room that's at like, I don't know, a 300 cap, it's like if you need 8 rooms, you got too many people in your crew.
Yeah, there's too much already. Yep. You're right.
You know what I mean? Like, bring a
It's
merch
like 32 people if you sleep in 2 double beds.
Yeah, like what do you if you're playing 300 cap rooms consistently? I mean, look, if you're hitting a 300 cap room and you're typically playing like 1,000, you know, cap plus or whatever, and you're just hitting a 300 cap room on a Wednesday night in a weird market, then whatever. But like, if you're consistently playing 300 cap rooms and not even selling them out, and you're asking for like 8 hotel rooms or something, or really more than like 1, then you got too many fucking people with you.
I think if you're on tour, you're on tour. That has nothing to do with you figure out where you're staying.
Yeah,
that's not part of my deal with you.
Or factor that into your ask for the night or something. You know, like just figure it out. You know.
Yeah.
They ask you like to book the hotel and everything.
Oh yeah, sometimes yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, sometimes they'll do that.
That happens that
No,
when we were
not a fan
when
of
we
it.
were Rockin' Jake band, like that was always the case.
Just give you a voucher or something like that.
No,
They're gonna be like, you're staying at this hotel. What if you don't want to stay at that hotel?
No, like whenever we played somewhere, the hotels were like almost. Sometimes they weren't. We'd like find somewhere to stay, but like it
How
was
many
always
rooms did they give
factored.
you?
2 rooms.
No kid.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a bed.
Yep.
How cute.
Yeah.
I don't mess with hotel rooms. Maybe it's because of the community I come from, but I'm not a. I think that's weird. I'm like, I'm not doing hotel rooms, guys.
Yeah.
We'll do a rider. Like we'll get, like you get buyouts and, some snacks and stuff. I hate big riders too, dude. That shit's weird to me.
Oh
The
yeah.
riders that I
That's
always
weird
thought
to
was
me.
weird was that they'll put furniture on riders.
Yeah.
Like they'll put
Sometimes they do.
we need like fucking 3 sofas. You're like,
Yep.
what?
What's the craziest rider you've ever gotten, or just like one item on a rider?
Oh, geez, the one that Jason had for freaking.
Yeah.
God, who was it?
The
Uh,
blackout
Jason-
of the
My dude Jason
Falcon
from,
Islands.
oh God. Yeah, shit.
Man, it's on the
Who
tip of my
was that?
tongue.
Yeah.
It starts with an A, I think.
Astronautilus.
Thank you.
It was Astronautilus. Now, obviously, it was fucking joke, but it was
No,
like
I know.
it was like there was a he
Grappling
wanted.
hook. That's my favorite part. A
shit.
grappling hook. I need a
Oh my God, a
hook.
grappling hook. That's right. Shit.
Because
I'm
I
glad
need
you-
to get up
glad you
places
guys remember the
quickly.
story. Shout out to Jason Honeycutt. But that was a good one. I don't know, man. Like I've had porn. Actually, I'm like, not fucking getting your porn. That's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Like
That's hilarious.
I've had batteries, which that's not that crazy, but it's
Batteries?
like just get your own fucking batteries, dude. Like, come on. I understand if you need batteries and there's a runner and we need to go out to get your batteries because your shit's dying, but like sometimes it's just on the rider as a thing. Boxers is on a lot of
Yeah,
riders.
Kara from Blue Jay Listening Room, shout out to Blue Jay. She was talking about how somebody asked for like underwear, like tidy whities underwear.
That's sometimes boxers are on there. I haven't seen tidy whities though, but yeah, I've seen boxers on. And I was like, "Is this a joke?" And then I'm like, "Oh no, I've seen it a few times. This is fucking weird."
Well, that's
T-shirts.
Why would they want
Package
underwear?
T-shirts.
they want
They can
fresh.
just throw it away and
underwear.
they don't have
They
to.
need. Oh, that's so wasteful.
Next question: how much of that do you think is actually serious versus how much they just want to see if you read the contract?
So I think like so stuff like with the boxers and shit.
Yeah.
I think those are usually legit. Like they just kind of it depends on the artist. A lot of people I deal with don't put that shit on there, but I have seen. But I think it's and it makes sense honestly if you think about it. It's like okay, look, you go to a different show and you get a different pack, so you're kind of always fresh. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about keeping them on tour with you.
Doing laundry.
You don't
and
have to worry
shit,
about the
yeah.
laundry.
Throw
So
'em away.
So yeah, so
My
so I
mom would,
kind of
like,
almost get
kill
that, but at
me.
the same time, no, you know what I mean? Like, and again, maybe if you're talking about bigger shit, things that you're getting into the more than 1,000 cap rooms, it's a little different. But like I've seen some riders to where a lot of it isn't the artist, it's just the agent, and it's kind of like the shit's just on there. But like you talk to when the artist advances with you, they're like, we don't want any of that shit. Give us a bag of chips, some water, some beer, and buyouts. We'd
Yeah.
rather have the cash.
Totally.
Those are my favorite. I'm like, why wouldn't you want that?
Oh.
And then I get like if you're on a bus, you could stock up, so you might not need cases of water every stop. So
Yeah.
you're just like, yo, just give me a buyout, and we're good. Obviously you're gonna get drinks. Everybody wants drinks. That's
A
normal.
buyout
That's
for the
standard.
rider, like you'd be like, "Here's what we promised you. We're just gonna give you the cash."
Yeah.
instead.
So
Yeah.
so your hospitality budget is $400.
That's my rider. My rider is $300.
So
Cash. That's what
So
I need.
That's. I would be like, that
Everywhere
is
I go.
cool. That is so much better than you asking me to go get you shit. Because here's the thing, as
Max
much
out
as
that ATM and give that to me.
listen,
Yeah.
I love going to Publix. I know it's a weird thing. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion also. Holy shit, I got a lot of them. But
Yeah.
I literally will go to Publix like once every other day. It's a weird thing, I know, but I do it. But I don't like going to shop for other people there.
Yeah.
And when I have to go for bands, I'm like, fuck, man, now I gotta like take my time out of my day to go shopping and get this beer. I don't know what kind of beer they really want. I don't really drink beer, so I don't know what they mean by a local IPA. Like, I don't fucking know. So I have to grab some shit, hoping that they like it. It's just a weird thing. Grab a bag of chips. Chips could be anything, What if I get a bag of chips that they literally don't like?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really there's not a distinction on it. Sometimes I get shit like that and it's a surprise. They're like, oh cool, thanks, we appreciate you getting that. We didn't even realize it was on our rider.
Yeah.
But usually an artist will advance and go, this is the stuff we'll need. We don't need all that shit. We cut all that out. It will take up $100 of the rider, and then you give us the rest of the $300 in cash.
Yeah.
And yes, that's easier. Let's do that. I'm cool with that.
I'll always take a buyout.
Buyouts always win. And here's the thing, right? Some of the hospitality budgets are put in there with bigger acts as part of the guarantee. It's separate from the guarantee, but that's another way for
Part
them
of
to
it.
make more money.
Yeah.
Like they're asking for $500 in hospitality. They know they're not going to use it, and they're going to get there and they're making an extra $500 every night.
So something similar to that I actually just, this is something I just learned about because we just released an album and there was all these things that we were talking about, and I figured out also another reason why you should be self-managing until you don't have to. I figured out that you can factor in a marketing budget into your guarantee as well as a band, or you can work that into the deal where the venue or promoter pays a certain amount in marketing fees as well. So have you seen where bands have like asked you like, hey, so we need this amount, we need like $1,000 guaranteed, we need a hospitality buyout, and then we need another $500 for marketing. Have you seen where they haven't used that money for marketing and just like showed up and just pocketed the money?
So not so much with the marketing, because they'll say, because it's more on the promoter's end to put that in the expense list on my as far as the deals I go, and there's so many different types of deals.
Yeah.
But as far as the deals that I do, usually I'm like, all right, it will be $100 in advertising. Sometimes they'll be like, all right, well, we need an advertising pack, and you got to send them the proof of all that shit.
Was that like flyers and like
You
promo
show
material?
receipts, Facebook ads, But I mean, it's not usually. I mean, there's some artists. There's some artists that you book. Like there's like YouTube artists. It's kind of common with where they tell you, look, all I need you to do is get us the room and put the tickets on sale, give us the link, and we will do the rest. And sure enough, fucking show sells out, and you're like, what the fuck? I didn't do
Really?
anything. Those are the best kind of shows.
Yeah, you're just
Those
like,
are the best.
You look like just a weight was lifted off your shoulders when you said
yes,
that.
those are so good. Except for when you get their day show and there's all these different VIPs that you have to figure out, and they still don't have it figured out, and they have like 12 different VIP.
What do you mean
things.
VIPs? Like there's like
So there's like a meet and greet before, but you don't have a ticket. Then there's a meet and greet before, but you have a ticket. Or there's an early entry, but no meet and greet. So you get in before, but not for the meet and greet.
and they don't fill
It
you
gets
in on this.
fucking weird. And what's crazy is they usually don't have the right answers either. You have to figure it out together with the tour manager, and it seems to always be like that. Then you have to have all these different wristbands, and I get it though. It's kind of a weird thing. It's an easy way to make money. I'm a big fan of VIP stuff, like charging, because here's the thing, right? It's not mandatory, right? So if you're offering like a meet and greet with the band for $50 and nobody does it, no harm, no foul, right?
Right.
But if you're doing that and 100 people want to do it, well, then why the fuck not? The people are paying the $50. They want to do it.
Oh, do people not do it? Have you noticed? Have you seen artists not do
there's
it?
sometimes where we have VIPs that nobody shows up for or nobody's paid for, but they probably kill it in another market, So
Well,
just because they don't show up in one market doesn't mean they do others.
Well, have you seen the artists not follow through with the VIP tickets though? Like if people buy them and
They
then the
buy
artist
them
is
and
just
the
like,
artist's
nah,
not
fuck
there.
this, I'm out.
Big time them.
Yeah.
So I've seen people be really shitty. There's some artists that are fucking great with the VIPs, like they'll like they make it count. Cold came through the other day. Tim Hall did Cold. They came, who's a Jacksonville band, and they came through Underbelly, and they had a VIP. They had like a handful of people, maybe like 20 people or so. They came through, met the whole band, got everything, handshakes and pictures, and chatted up with the bands, and the bands were fucking great. You kind of watch the interaction, and I've done a lot of meet and greet stuff in one part of my world that I live in, festivals. And so you see how artists interact. Sometimes they're not very cool. Sometimes John 5, you have to cut off. You're like, yo, dude, I have an artist after you, dude. I need you to stop being so nice to these people. Like,
Yeah, we gotta get it.
But,
We gotta go.
but Cold was great, man. They took a picture, with like a handful of people at a time, for time's sake. They were fucking great, man. Like those people left there going, that was worth I don't know how much they paid, but it was worth every penny to them. They got their laminate, they got a poster, they got signatures, handshakes, pictures, and it was well worth it because you could tell the way the bands were treating them. They cared, and it was cool to see that, especially a Jacksonville band. You want Jacksonville bands to be cool.
Yeah, totally.
But then I've seen others where, fucking Little Pump, dude. Little Pump did fucking He did meet and greets, showed up fucking late as shit for his show, played an 18-minute set, and sat there while people were paid however much for that meet and greet, and didn't interact with the people at all, and was just kind of like, he was probably all fucked up, I don't know, but he was just like, what the fuck was that about, dude? Like, people paid to meet you, bro. Like, make it count. Give him something.
People also paid to see your show. You played for 18 minutes.
18 minutes, bro. That was the set. He did an intro and then an 18-minute set. That was it.
Lil Pump, he's a hip hop artist.
He's a hip hop artist. A couple of weeks later, to put it in perspective, maybe a couple of months. It was probably a couple of months after that show. That was at 1904. After that was a show was a shit show, by the way.
Yeah.
But he was on Saturday Night Live with fucking Kanye West. So,
Yeah, I don't.
So he's winning, whatever. It's fucking good for him, I guess. But
I don't get. That's why like the hip hop market or the hip hop scene rather is just a weird one because like I don't really fully understand how it operates. It's like it seems like you're always paying to play and then just one day you're famous.
And then boom.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but it's like that.
It's a wild scene.
It's cool
man.
being on the side where it's successful. I'm sure like that's awesome.
Totally.
But man, there's some fucking artists that come through that are fucking great with their fans, man. Like they'll like hang out, and it's again same thing. I'm like, guys, man, we need to clean up and get out of the because they'll do a lot of times meet and greets for hip hop shows or after the show, which is cool, But sometimes they kind of stay late because they're meeting all their fans. But they're some of the fucking guys are fucking rad, dude. Puya, kind of a bigger artist from down south. Him and his crew, they're fucking awesome with the fans, man. Like they're awesome. Like I don't know dudes personally, but I can tell you, I saw them interact with their fans in the meet and greets, and they were like humble as could be about it. And they were like thankful and they appreciative. They do it just at a sold out room. They could be cocky and whatever, but they sure as fuck weren't. When I've seen them, and I've seen them do it a couple of times, they're like thankful for everybody that comes up. Get a better picture than that one. Take another one. All right, let's get this again. You know what I mean? Like
what kind of hip hop was it?
It's like, well, for lack of a better term, I don't know the exact terminology for it, but it's SoundCloud rappers.
Okay, it's like mumble rap or is it like pop rap?
Yeah, like mumble rap stuff, I guess.
Okay.
But they're pretty big in their genre for sure.
Because I was gonna say like I feel like in a scene where it's more you've been grinding it out for years type thing that you might have more appreciation for the fans. But if you're a mumble rapper, you probably haven't been grinding it out for years. It's probably like more like a relatively new thing.
Right.
So they just might be
quick.
Cool people then,
Yeah, and well, I know the first time we worked with them was at Underbelly. It was November. It was right after Cameron sold it. Cameron, shout out to Cameron. He was awesome, the former owner of Underbelly. Rad dude, but he sold Underbelly. And then when the new guy took over, one of the first shows we had was Puya opening for Flatbush Zombies and fuck man, who was it? There's another hip hop group. You wouldn't know.
Sorry.
It was another group that's actually doing pretty hot right now too, and it's Underachievers.
Okay.
They're pretty dope. But yeah, Puya showed up, and I was like, I didn't know who they were. They were like the opening act, and they fucking crushed it, and people knew who they were. I'm like, all right. Well,
Nice.
you can't know everything, especially nowadays, man. There's
much
shows. Shows will sell out, and I'll be like, I don't know who this is at all. I don't have no clue who this is. I've never heard of this artist ever, and yet they just sold out a fucking show.
I see
It's
that.
awesome.
I see Eric Coffin posting pictures all the time, of, like sold out shows at 1904, and like I'm just like I've never heard of this band. I mean, to be fair, I'm not a promoter, so I don't work in a bunch of different scenes.
Right.
But like I get so like into what's happening in this world that I like forget that there's like there's like an indie scene, there's a hip hop scene, there's like a there's a reggae scene, there's all these different scenes where people are like crushing it, and markets that do really well here, like reggae and indie music seem to do really well in Jacksonville. I just didn't even realize that was like a huge thing here. But like apparently reggae shows are selling out, according to Tim Hall, and indie shows are selling out. Jason told me that this indie band they had there the other night at Underbelly was like sold out.
Yeah,
and it was
TV
like,
Girl.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Sold
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yep. Sold out.
So
I've never heard of them. I feel
Listen,
bad.
I got to be honest, and they were awesome, right? They were like cool people. They came in super easy to work with, had their shit together, sounded amazing, super great to work with, really down to earth. No one I knew except for one person, Mickey. Shout out to Mickey. Do you guys know Mickey?
I don't think so.
She's great. She's fucking phenomenal. Music nerd, just like me. But she's like I love this band, but no one I know knows them. And I'm like, it's funny because you're the only person I know that knows them. And here you are. And not only did they sell it out, but they sold it out. Originally, it was at Underbelly, and it had to be, or 1904, it had to be moved to
That's what
Underbelly.
Jason said, yeah.
They were moving, they were playing in Hell in Atlanta, and after a month of being on sale, got moved to Heaven. Tickets have been on sale for a couple of months now. And they were moving up in venues where they were able to do so. They can't do it in every market because it's not exactly easy just to move a show.
Right.
But they were moving up to bigger venues in a lot of markets where they were able to. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know who the fuck they are.
Yeah.
I do now.
I feel bad. Yeah, I really didn't. Flip Turn was another one that I didn't even know who they were, and then I was like,
They're from
holy
Fernandina,
they're from
yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
here. And
Flip
I'm
Turn's
like, God
from here,
damn it.
blowing the fuck up.
I know. I'm so jealous of
Yeah,
their
get them
tour.
on the
I'm so
podcast.
happy.
Yeah,
for them,
great
though.
band, though.
Yeah.
Great band.
I did ask them actually, and they didn't say anything.
They didn't say anything.
No.
They big timed you a little bit.
Yeah.
No, they didn't. They're busy.
Sorry.
They're touring the country.
We'll revisit
I
this
think
moment.
they got
That's what
management
I'm
and
gonna
agent
convince
now,
myself.
too.
yeah.
Because I don't think they're booking themselves anymore either.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Maybe we
But-
should reach out to their manager or something.
Not a bunch
Yeah.
of 20-year-olds
We'll
don't
figure it
allow
out.
But
figure
they
it out.
are
This is what I do.
they are great band. Have you seen them?
Never
no, I
seen
haven't
them.
got to see them.
So
yet.
they
Those
are
the music,
like
though.
a modern day version of the Talking Heads,
Okay, cool.
and they don't sound like the Talking Heads. They just got that vibe. They're very different. The singer's kind of quirky, great. They're awesome musicians. Good band, really really good band. Very unique band, and they are blowing the fuck up, man. It's
yeah,
awesome.
I've
It's
seen
awesome.
I've
I
seen
love
their
it.
touring schedule. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, man. Jacksonville's got some cool shit, man. The Dog Apollo, great,
Oh.
great band. Phase Wave,
Phase Wave, I've heard of them
Intervention. Holy shit, Intervention, Glazed.
before. Side Hustle.
Side Hustle's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, we know that. That's already a thing.
No one else knows it apparently.
Greenhouse
though, so-
Lounge.
Greenhouse
Oh,
Lounge.
Greenhouse
yeah.
Lounge. I saw Greenhouse Lounge for the first time the other night. You
When
know?
at Underbelly.
Yeah, that was my first time.
Did you like it?
Fuck yeah, I
was
was
good?
fucking blown away, dude.
All right, cool.
Absolutely blown away. I was like, this is fucking. And Steven,
Lot of
rockstar
energy.
ass.
Oh, I
It's
know.
well, that's what I loved about it. It was like so fun to watch you guys play. Like it was so much fun. It was like holy shit. But Side Hustle was fucking. I was like holy shit too. Like so, Jacksonville's talented, man. Jacksonville's got some real talent. Shout out to Rhythm of Fear.
Never
They're-
heard of who's that?
They're a thrash band from Jacksonville.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
You should check them out because they're
I go
fucking
hard with them.
amazing.
Yeah.
Billy's never even heard
I
of
know.
thrash music
I don't
before.
know what that means.
No, I manage those dudes.
Is
They're
that like
fucking
crunk?
great.
Oh, you manage them?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay,
They're great.
cool.
They're great. Great band.
Well, how do you
Great dudes.
wear all these hats and
I
like
don't fucking
stay
know.
sane,
I got a really
man?
big head too, so. I know.
It's like you're manage. So is this the only band that you manage, or are you managing other bands?
Well, yeah, I was working with this one band in New York, but they kind of took a breather for a while, and they just kind of recently came back. And they actually just made a new album that's fucking amazing. This band, Restless Spirit, but that's kind of been a slow burn right now because it got really busy with Rhythm of Fear, and then they kind of took a break while things were getting really busy with them, and so I haven't really done so. And then the pandemic shit fucked up
Right.
everything. But I don't know, man. I try to be a good dad. You know, I try to balance out to make sure like my kid likes me, which she does. She's 14, which is fucking. I'm thinking a win. You know, I try to be a good dog dad. My pup, you know, Migo, and I just try to get good shows, man. Try to keep rooms booked and.
this is your full-time gig.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear. So a few more questions for you before we get to unpopular opinions. What are some things, some creative things that either you've done or you've seen bands do to get people out to shows when it's their first time playing in a market, promotional wise or other, you know?
Creative things. That's a deep one. Damn.
Somebody was telling me
Dead
one
air right
time
now.
when I forgot which band it was. It may have been Tim Hall, but I don't remember. When somebody was releasing an album, they started like kind of putting like these Easter eggs around their city, and like with like stuff from the new
Oh,
new
that's
album.
cool. I haven't heard of that. That's
And
really
like,
cool.
and then when people saw it come out, I was like, "Oh, that's what I've been seeing." Shit like that. I forget which band it was. I forget.
That's yeah. No, I haven't heard of that. That's freaking great.
So I'm curious if you've seen bands kind of take an initiative, or if you've done like done things like that as a promoter to ensure, you know, a successful show. However that may
Nothing
look.
creative that cool. That's fucking great. I mean, just you know, maybe just really just getting more active and pushing it harder and just making sure like you're focused on it. But nothing fun, nothing exciting. I don't have a good answer for that. That sucks. What a we cut this part?
Yeah, no.
This is boring answer. Sopranos.
No, no, I've actually
that's a tough one.
I've asked a lot of promoters that question, and it's usually the same things. I just don't think. I think that promoters. I mean, you guys have so many shows on your plates. It's like hard to like pick like one thing and be like, this is the one that I'm gonna like go the extra mile for. You know, it's like. So I mean, I don't ever really. I'm just curious if you've ever like maybe in your earlier years or like when you were when you had more time to like think about one show, if there's ever any kind of thing, because I think it's fun. Like for me as an artist, like I'm not a promoter, right? Like I play music, but like there's an aspect of it that I have to that I have to embrace because it's a part of my job, and the only way for me to embrace it and to get excited about it is to make it creative. So I have to think about it in a way that's going to make it exciting for me, and that's kind of like the way that I think about promotion and marketing and whatever, like business in general, structuring deals, to get creative with that too. I just want to. It's got to be fun for me. So I just always ask the whoever.
I mean, kind of going back to I guess for me, probably what it is really just trying to create a killer lineup. Like people going, damn, that's going to be a fucking cool show, and I cannot miss it. You kind of make it. You try to make it an event like that. You can't make every single one like that because there's just not enough to go around. But
right.
You really try to hit it home with the lineups. You get the locals that are going to match up with the tour package, and you just kind of complement it all. But I don't know, man. I guess I've seen some people do the thing online where you could hire someone to promote your event for you or wish you happy birthday or whatever.
Influencers are like, if you do things like that, you can buy.
I guess I've seen that before, but I've never done that.
Oh, that's an interesting tool. Going on one of those like those celebrities
what the hell is it called?
apps or whatever, where they like wish you a happy birthday.
It's like shout out is what it's called or something like
Yes.
that.
Something like that.
I know what you're talking about.
And instead, just like pay them to say, hey. Side Hustle is going to be in your city on
That's
so
what
and
they did
so.
with Dan Marino. That's why he sold all those cars in Miami.
Yeah, but Dan Marino is.
It's a very similar thing. Yeah,
it's similar. Yeah, but like this is going to be way cheaper.
Yeah.
It is cheaper,
more relevant.
You could probably still get Dan Marino.
and then you
could.
could. I'm sure he's probably on there.
Yeah, he's probably on there. Yeah.
But I mean, people make money off of that. I can't remember the fucking app. Everybody's
what you're talking
that's going to
about.
watch or listen is going to be like, oh, dumbasses, it's called this.
My girlfriend and a few of her, or Chelsea and a few of her friends got her brother a happy birthday from Gilbert Gottfried.
See, yeah,
That's a
he's a
great
big one
one.
on there. He's a big one.
Yeah, it was
Sebastian
cheap.
Bach from Skid Row apparently does crazy shit.
I
Like
love him.
has like
He's so fucking funny.
stuff in the background and just goes crazy on stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so a thrash band could go on and get the dude from Exodus and Slayer
Oh, I know the
to
name.
do a
It's
shout out. You know what I
Cameo.
mean? Like Cameo. That's it. There it is.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's perfect. I'm glad you did because it was driving me nuts. But I wonder if Cameo's on Cameo. Word up. If not, there's something there. But
we'll
yeah,
reach out to his people.
I don't know. I mean, like I know, like you guys, you definitely had a crazy merch spread that was awesome.
Yeah.
I think you get creative with merch and shit like that as a band.
Yeah.
As a promoter, man, I haven't done anything that creative. I'm sorry, I'm slacking in that.
Not at all. I'm just not
now
at
I feel
all.
challenged.
No, it's just one. I'm just always
We don't know either,
curious.
so don't feel bad.
I'm
Good
just always,
question. It's a good question.
I'm always just trying to figure out, like how people operate in their positions because I have to wear those hats at times myself. So I'm just trying to like get the information.
I was in LA with my friends Cameron and Lisa. Shout out to them. They're amazing people, by the way. Cameron does a lot of work, video work, with a lot of big bands, but a lot of big metal bands and hardcore bands. And Lisa is killing it, makeup artist in LA right now.
Hell yeah.
Works for Trixie. But when we were out there, I helped them move out there recently, and about a year or so ago. And Steve-O from Jackass had something coming out, and he taped himself to one of those freaking highway signs. Yeah, there's that.
Just taped himself.
Oh yeah, he was duct taped to one of those big old billboards.
Like his physical person.
His physical person was taped up to a billboard.
That's what we need to do.
We missed it. By the time we got there, he was because LA traffic, but he was taped to a billboard, and it was a big thing, and it was all over the place, and
Wow.
so that was a cool promotion too. I don't know what he was promoting at the time, but he was promoting something.
Maybe
But-
you should do that for some of your bands.
I'm thinking, man, but I don't know. I'm kind of a hairy dude, and duct tape would hurt.
Oh, definitely
Taking
get their
off.
opinion. Definitely get their attention though, for sure.
It would.
And then my last question, and if Billy has anything, feel free to ask at some point, Bill.
All right.
But
I've just been listening. It's been nice.
do you have any advice to give bands or aspiring promoters, just do's and don'ts when you're getting started or trying to enter new markets or whatever it might be?
Do's and don'ts. Just don't.
Yeah, just don't.
Just go find something better.
Become a
That's-
doctor,
That's
a
so
lawyer, something.
fucking true. Oh my god.
No,
Literally
I'm kidding.
fuck this career.
Well, like for artists, I could tell you, it's okay to be persistent. It's it's okay to send multiple emails because you can't always answer emails. You forget, they get caught up in the email thing. So that's not too bad. But don't be an asshole. Be reasonable when we like the guarantees we were asking about. Don't try to oversell yourself because then you're bullshitting. Then I'm like, why do I want to work with someone who's bullshitting?
How many emails is being an asshole? Because I actually need to know because I can be an asshole.
It depends on how much you need something. So if you're like sending me something for April of next year and you're not someone who's really kind of big in the market, like, do I really want to book your band that far out and take a date up on a calendar of something that might come in that might be bigger?
Of course.
No offense to you guys, but I'm looking out for myself and for the community as a whole, and there might be a bigger thing that comes through. Why would I book out a young band that far out? That's kind of weird. I get you have to book far out. I do get that in some sense, but at the same time, just be patient, right? Doesn't mean that you're being ignored. Just kind of listen. I'm not there yet on my calendar, so I'm not going to answer you yet. So if you're doing that, like hitting me up weekly on that, I'm kind of like, that's kind of annoying because I'm like, yo, it's far out, But if something's coming up and you really need a date and you're hitting me up a week at a time and something like it's 2 months out, 3 months out, it's a little different.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you. So I think that's a fair timing, and it's okay to kind of say, hey, I'm not trying to bother you, just dropping a reminder here, seeing if you got my thing. And I try to reply to everybody. It's impossible. Some people you honestly don't want to reply to because you don't have anything to say, so to speak. Sometimes you just don't know what to do with it yet. You're like, God, I don't know what to do with it yet. But you don't want to say that because you don't want to lose it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, and then you forget about it because that happens.
Oh, totally.
And that has nothing to do with anybody personal. It's just me being old.
Or just a lot on your plate. I forget about emails all the time that come in, so I feel you, man.
Yeah, it's just a fair amount. Like, if you think you're being annoying, you probably are being annoying.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I see it. But I don't know, man. Like, just know what you're in for. Don't expect the world from a venue or a promoter. And the same as promoter in a band. Like, I mean, if you're a promoter, don't expect every band to come and kill it. And then, not every band's going to come and crush a market. And just, it's okay to work and build with a new band. Just know that you're doing that, and give the band credit for doing what they're doing, and especially if they're on a pretty extensive tour. Try to get there at load-in. That's kind of cool. That helps people like Eric, sound guys.
I love that when a promoter's there at load-in. I know it's not always ideal or like necessary, but just for me, it's like it's a nice surprise.
It's a nice feeling. I try to be there. I'm not always there. However, somebody is always there. So like if someone Blacktop Mojo the other night, when they got there at 2:30, and I was getting there around 3ish, and the guy hit me up, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. But I was like, is everything cool? Because I know Eric's there taking care of it. I don't really need to be there to help them load in,
Right.
or do a sound check because I'm not doing any of that shit. But I'm gonna be there and get you started and get everything, make you feel good and get your rider stuff or whatever it is, your buyouts ready, for when you're there, and just make you feel like you're about to have a good show, and communication's a thing, If I'm not gonna make it to a show, I just communicate with an artist. Sometimes I'm not at shows, but I have someone there representing me, and it's communicated ahead of time. We all have communication. We all have phones and, email. If you communicate and you tell people, that's a big thing.
Outside of like practice as a musician, communication is like, God damn it, that's like number one, man.
Yeah, it's
like
huge. It's huge.
especially between like promoters and talent buyers and everything. It's like especially when you're on the road, man, it gets so complicated
Right.
because you have like 10 different threads going on, and you're like, okay, what's this show again? Where's this one at? How is this deal structured versus how this one's structured? Like the details get all so like jumbled, and then you know
That's when a tour manager comes in, and yes, tour managers are very necessary also. When
Oh
you
my
get to
God.
a certain, however, it's obviously an expense, so you can't always afford a tour manager. But it sucks as an artist if you're not really in that frame of mind to have to worry about doing that shit. So that's why tour managers are great. Because honestly, I become friends with tour managers more than I do artists.
totally.
Because that's who I work with.
Yep.
And that helps me because I communicate one person. Hey guys, we're about to get doors. Can you make sure your guys have all their gear picked up off the floor because it's kind of scattered about? No problem, dude. I got it. I'll get everybody on it. And it's cool. You got to get tour manager. It's you and him. You and her. It's right there, eye to eye. You don't have to worry about going to all the different bands. If a band comes up to you and asks something, I don't know, man. Talk to your tour manager.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, can I put someone on a guest list? Go to your tour manager. Tour manager's going to give it to me.
Yeah.
Like that's some of the best people.
Can't wait to I will take the hit financially just to get a tour
It's worth
manager.
it.
'cause,
Here's the
like,
thing: it's going to
fuck.
generate you more money.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, sometimes spending money makes you more money. You have a good
Yeah.
tour manager, you're going to have your merch taken care of because a lot of times tour manager can be the merch person or the sound person, so it's kind of doubles up. But just having the organization of all that and the peace of mind of someone doing that and taking care of everything that they're supposed to be taking care of, getting settled up at the end of the night, and there's no surprises when you're going into a venue. Because a lot of times you don't advance with the promoter. You're coming in and you might not walk into what you think you're walking into. You might not even have a show. That happens, with bands like, it sucks, but that happens, But if you have someone that's invested in you and you're invested in them and that's their role, that's huge. Like that is so helpful for a band, especially a young band that's trying to survive on the road.
It's just like you don't have to think about all this shit while you're like trying to perform and put on a show. I can't tell you how many times I like get so distracted because I'm like walking up to a venue and I've got all these things like, is this sound guy going to be here? And then like, okay, what time are the doors opening again? Because like this is like only one of like 3 or 4 spots we got on this run, so I'm just trying to remember exactly what time the doors open. And then it's like, okay, well, when people start walking in the room, like how many people are actually in the room right now? And what was it? Okay, was it 70% of the door after expenses and this and that? Okay, so how many people are here? Like while I'm playing the show, how many people are in the room right now? Is there anyone at the merch table? Because I'm not, because there's not a merch person there. But if I'm like in the middle of a song or something and I see someone at the table, I'm like, fuck, we're losing a sale. All these things start to go through your mind, and you're like, how do I put on a show effectively right now? The answer is that you don't, and you need to outsource those things because you cannot be bothered with the minutia of that stuff. You know what I mean?
That's absolute facts. That's absolute facts. And you really shouldn't have to worry about surprises getting to a venue. And a good tour manager, you're on the road 30 days. That's a lot.
It's a long time.
That's a lot
man.
of information.
Yeah.
For a band to juggle. And then you have to worry about who am I settling up with that night? Because sometimes it's not the promoter. Sometimes it's a venue representative.
Right.
How are you getting paid? Are you getting paid in a check? Are you getting paid cash?
Was the communication there? Like, do they know exactly what the deal
Do
was?
they know what they're paying you?
Exactly.
Because sometimes it's a promoter who decided not to show up and the venue stuck with you, and they're not. They don't want to treat you bad, but they might not know what's going on.
Right.
And it might not even be their fault. And then now all of a sudden you're mad at the venue and the venue's mad at the bands.
And I
And
gotta
really, it's
fucking
just
go-
an asshole promoter who didn't show up.
And I gotta go digging through emails now to figure out
Right.
like exactly
I'd
what
be
we
so
agreed
fucking
on.
good at this job. It's like every single thing, like every bullet point is like, yes, I would be amazing at all.
Yeah.
these things. I want to be a musician, but I could fucking do that without a fucking.
There you
And
go.
I love
Look
it.
at
A lot of
I've-
post-it notes.
Like the most fucking organized person ever.
But this is exactly why it goes back to again like self-managing and self-running the band is important up to a certain point. You do need representation at a certain
Yes.
we could definitely use representation now, but like the reason why I can really appreciate that representation and like what the thing actually is because I do it all, right? And like I couldn't sit here. If I had never done it, I'd be like, well, why would you hire someone to do that?
I don't think that you could let somebody do it. Actually, I don't think you could let
Oh no,
let the control go.
I'd be on top of it for sure.
But that's the whole point. Is
no,
that
no,
you're
no.
trying to get
Are you the band dad?
I'm the band leader. Yeah.
But I don't think that you could give that responsibility away to somebody. Like, hey,
not
you're in
right
charge of
away.
this.
Not right away. I'd definitely be asking them questions. But I think that's fair, though. I think that's fair.
No. I'm just saying, like what you were talking about. Like, hey, I'm thinking about all these things during the show. You just be thinking about what the tour manager's doing.
No,
Right. You would be thinking about what the tour manager's doing.
No.
But at least it's focused on the tour manager. Is the tour manager
One
doing what
thing.
they're supposed to
Okay,
do?
all right,
Right.
all right,
But
all right.
here's the thing, right? You're out for 3. Let's say you're out for 3 weeks to a month,
Yeah.
and the first week ends up going smooth.
Yeah.
He's not thinking about it by the second week.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then the next tour around, you got the same tour manager, or you get a tour manager from a different tour that you were on that was tour managing another band that you were working with, and you know how they work. At some point, he's gonna calm down on thinking on that stuff and
That's-
get it. You know,
That's the point. And
It
and
would
as
be
somebody
a smooth transition.
and
that's
as
all I'm
and
saying.
as, yeah,
it would take a minute.
Yeah,
Take a minute.
and it, because and you know, as somebody who has to be like aware of all those details, it's not just easy to relinquish that and say, well, you're gonna be as on top of this as I am, even though it's not really your bottom line, because you're getting paid regardless, right? Like for me, that causes a bit of an uneasiness. Like if I know that I'm paying you regardless, and then I'm putting all of this into your hands, I need to know that you're gonna actually take care of it,
Yeah.
right? So it's like you said, after like a couple of days or like a week of doing a good job, I would not even think about it anymore. But yeah, I would definitely be a little bit, uneasy, or maybe just asking the questions, just making sure that it's all getting handled,
You'd probably micromanage for a minute,
Yeah.
but that's with anything. That's with a drummer.
Yeah.
You're trying out a new drummer. Is he gonna be able to hang on? Like, kind of, at first, but catches up as soon as it starts clicking. You're like, all right, good, I got it.
Yeah,
This
I
is
mean,
good.
look, it's
You know?
and people have, and that's like just a necessary thing. Like people have to earn the trust, right? You can't just
Yes.
put that in someone's hands. But okay, we're good. That's how people get fucked over. You know what I mean? So it's like, so that's just But you're right. I would definitely be a little bit of a nervous wreck
I don't
about
think
it.
you'd ever let go.
It's like a producer.
I would like.
You
Oh.
would never let go.
Did you guys have like an outside producer who's worked with you?
We did it all ourselves. No, yeah.
Everything.
So-
And
so it
really, mostly him.
Here's the thing, right? Outside producers we know are actually can be very beneficial.
Oh, 100%.
But it's hard for band members to go, who's this outside motherfucker coming in? Like
That would be a hard one for me.
But you got Tool with what Sylvia Massey is like did Tool or
Right.
I mean Sylvia Massey did fucking whoever. Like you get someone like that and you're like, oh shit, that person just made our band better. That person brought out so much out of our band once we trusted that person.
That would be a hard one to relinquish the control to, because the thing is that you won't really know until the end result.
Yes.
And that's the problem. It's like, well, we're not just going to have a couple of days of you proving your worth. Like, I need to see the record come out, and I need to see that it actually, your contribution worked.
Right.
And then that would be the proof of concept, right? And then I'd feel comfortable the next time around, maybe. But like, I get like when in the studio, man. That's like that's like where I don't let shit slip. On the business side, I'm fucking I can be a little reckless sometimes and like not keep track of things the way that I need to. But in the studio, that shit's like, I'm like, no, this thing needs to be fucking lowered by like a half a decibel, and that needs to be panned just to that fucking side right there, because if we don't have that fucking transition right there, it's gonna ruin the whole fucking song, man. And that's the kind of shit where I get like.
But if you have someone coming in going, you know what if we make it even a half, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't even think of that.
That's
and then all of a sudden, someone like Eric comes in, you
Yeah.
know, like doing your live sound, going, hey, listen, maybe if you turn your amps down a little bit, just go with me here. There's always bands like, oh shit, man, thank you so much.
Totally.
I didn't know that.
Totally.
And then Eric's like, yeah, dude, it's like just because Eric will try to help. And man, he's getting a lot of love on this podcast. Eric,
Oh,
you
he
owe us
deserves
all
it. He's our fucking
$5
boy,
each,
man.
bro.
He's
He
my
is our boy.
favorite.
Man. He is the best. But so it is hard to let control over stuff like that go. But at the same time, sometimes it's way beneficial.
For sure.
And very helpful. And
I'm
but it's
definitely-
good. It's good problems to have when you're having someone from the outside help because you're growing.
Yeah, 100%,
It's
man.
it's good problems to have.
It's definitely, and a producer is definitely something I've been considering for the next one. Just to, again, man, he's like, you want to focus on your performance. You want to focus, like in the studio.
Yeah.
You want to make sure you're giving the best take that you can give. Like you want to make sure that you're getting the best sound that you can get. Like you don't want to, like when you're in the live room with headphones on, you don't always know how that translates through the speaker. So it's like rather than me putting my guitar down and saying, oh, let me go check it out real quick. Okay, I don't like that. Let me go tweak it. Let me come back again. It's like just having a producer in there that knows what's gonna sound good and like what's gonna what you're going for as an artist.
Right.
That shit is just just delegating and letting you just focus on being the best musician and artist that you can be. That's what the name of the game is, I think.
Yeah, I feel that. I agree.
All right, so unpopular opinions.
Unpopular
Yeah,
opinions.
So this is a great episode.
No, I love
is
it.
fun.
Yeah.
This is great.
It's very
Yeah.
informative. I feel bad I haven't really been talking much, but literally it's because I'm just listening the whole fucking time, which is rare for me.
Yeah, yeah. Typically, Billy's like just interrupting and trying to make jokes at every little thing.
No,
but,
I mean I have to. Otherwise, what's the point of living?
I also want to say the VIP thing. Can I pay people to like not want to talk to me after a show? Would that be a thing?
Ooh, yeah,
Would
that's
that be like a
most,
VIP thing?
Most people, I
That
would
could
say.
be something new. That's the thing.
Right. So a VIP, like just ignore the artist.
Just seriously, just stay away.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
stay away.
Every one of our shows.
Well, it's
No.
such a thing, like, because
Just kidding.
I understand that, but at the same time, like, man, like, what a humbling thing that people really are that moved by you that they cannot wait to talk to you when you just got done
100%.
pouring your heart and art out to them, and they were touched by it so much.
There's
Yeah.
Again,
of course.
cliche as shit, but that's real shit.
No, it's true, man.
because music's art, right?
That's literally like
That's
the
fun.
greatest compliment that, and like nothing makes you feel better than like when people come up and say that your show, or even if it's like a specific song, or like even better if they call out like a lyric, you're just like, oh,
yeah,
god
that's
damn,
great.
man.
That's great when people are singing your lyrics. Right?
Or like call out like a part, like, oh man, that fucking keyboard lick, man, like that shit right there, like that's like, fuck, man, you noticed that? That's like, thank you so much. Like that's amazing. I'm just also kind of antisocial and awkward. So like, and after a show, if I've like just left it all on the stage, there's like not much left in me. So like, I might not give you what you want in the moment, and that's what I'm afraid of. It's an insecurity. You know?
And that's that's the thing with artists too, man. I think a lot of artists get bad raps for being like, oh, that guy's an asshole, like that girl sucks. No, it's they're in their zone,
Yeah.
and sometimes that's like, it's so personal and passionate that it's hard for them to deal with even though it's so to speak, your fans are family members almost, it's still outsiders, and it's really hard when you just opened up so much to then open up face to face with someone who's thanking you and telling you that like, I mean, there's some bands like I'm not gonna mention a name, but there's one band that we were doing artist signings for, and they were getting envelope after envelope, just getting things given to them, people drawing things from them, giving them all things, and they wouldn't open the envelopes. And I was like, man, you guys are just gonna leave these here? Like, I was kind of like offended. And the guy was like, tour manager was like, listen, man, he's like, they used to take every single thing and they would read every letter. He's like, but after so many suicide notes, it's really, really depressing.
Jesus.
And it's really hard on a person to read those when you're getting teenage girls and I mean teenage boys like talking about how you save them from suicide. Yes, it's great to hear that, but after a while, like, it's really depressing and it's hard to keep up with. And I'm like, wow, like I never thought of it like that, and I can see that it's almost bad for your mental state if it's something that's so ongoing and
You're taking on that responsibility.
Yeah, you are,
almost,
and you're not trying to. And it's great that within your heart and your feelings, your emotions, you're helping someone else. Of course, that's great. You always want to help someone else, but it's a burden to take on. And some people are, especially artists, man. Artists, sometimes are in very fragile places, and that's a very fragile thing to take on.
Yeah,
directly.
totally, man. Totally. Yeah, that's always my issue with talking to people after
that got
shows.
depressing. I didn't mean to go there.
Oh man.
Well,
geez.
also after a certain point, it's just like, yeah, we fucking get it. We saved your life. See you later. All right, unpopular opinions.
Yeah.
All right.
What you got, Bill?
You want me me to go first?
Oh yeah.
I wrote this one, and it was stupid, but I'm going to read it anyways. 18th mid-century Baroque era music is far better than 17th century classical music, but not as digestible as early 19th century Romantic era music.
That's deep. That's deep.
Yeah, that's for
Holy
sure
shit.
unpopular.
It was just a tongue-in-cheek about...
It's for sure unpopular.
It was
There's
just-
nobody knows what the fuck
I
you're talking
know.
about.
That's just very fair.
It was just some...
Yes.
It's tongue-in-cheek, just making fun of people that are just... this way up in the air about, oh, this music is better than this music.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, that's like the one thing that I grew up on was classical music and was classically trained piano and everything like that. So I feel like I could say that and sound really smart.
And really, yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, I was like, damn.
Definitely good at fooling people.
I was like, I should be dressed nicer right now.
Yeah.
me too. But I got these mocks on, so what's up?
Because you also grew up with country music, so
Born
you
and raised,
know.
want to fight about it?
Yeah.
Shoot.
All right. So my first unpopular opinion is that tribute bands are bad for business.
Bad for business? Which business?
All
The bar
of 'em.
bar business?
Not their business.
Yeah. All right. So here's.
Bad business for like cougars.
So I. So I have some friends. This is.
And there it is. Mic
Yeah.
drop.
I mean,
Goddamn.
that's it for sure.
No. So
You trying
here.
to tell me you can't pick up some 50-year-old slack in a Margaritaville cover band?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So here's my
Tribute, not cover. Tribute.
Yeah,
It's
tribute. So
it's not
here's
cover
my
band, it's
here's my
tribute.
reasoning. Okay.
It's
I-
2021.
I was having a conversation, and this is not a knock. I have friends and family actually that are in tribute bands.
Which ones?
And I'm not knocking on the hustle. Do what you gotta do,
Hustle.
right? You're like this is a difficult industry.
Gotta learn
And-
one
and-
song
and-
at one
Disco
time.
tribute band?
Is that a disco tribute band?
Doop 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 doop.
Yeah.
Dude, awesome. Sorry, there's dad jokes there.
Uh,
My kid's rolling her eyes right now.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. She
That's
doesn't even
good.
know what I'm saying. She's just rolling her eyes.
It's like, what's disco? Yeah, like you know, I don't hate anyone from doing it, but I will say there's a few things that I have an issue with. Number one is that it takes you've entered into our realm of the original bands, and you've taken our slots, and people are hiring you instead of hiring the original bands because they know that you'll sell tickets for sure. And that means that we're not getting hired
What's
now.
the name of that?
Number one.
Oh.
Number
sorry.
two.
I got bullet points.
Yeah, I got bullet points.
Great. This is great. I love it.
Number two, if you're trying to leverage the situation to get people to listen to your original music, it's not going to work. And here's exactly why. I was having this conversation with a good friend of mine, Kevin Maines, the other day. Shout out to Kevin and Carmadon Straps Electronics.
So many shout-outs.
He was on the show not too long ago, a good friend of mine. But we were talking about it, and it's like when you have a tribute band and you try to use that fan base to get, to draw awareness to your original music, the thing is that the foundation that you're standing on as an artist in the band is laid by the fans, which is naturally very fickle, and it's very it's not very solid, right? Like fans it's just not a solid foundation. Versus when you have an original band and you get the fans to buy into that, the foundation is you, you're the rock solid foundation, right? So what I mean by it's bad for business, it's that it's not a long game, right? It's not going to get people to like you as an artist, and you're pushing your original artists or original bands in your community out of a job, basically.
And grass is green. Like, are you kidding me? Duh.
It's
Well,
an
let me
unpopular
ask you
opinion.
this. How about
Everybody, whatever.
Halloween cover bands, like Halloween cover sets?
Hate it.
Really?
I hate it.
I've always said anybody who starts, they'd be like canceled immediately, but anybody who starts a Disney cover band, to the fucking moon, rich.
Like
Shit.
who? That's like saying
Anybody who decided to be like, you know what we
No,
are
no,
now?
no, no.
But Disney-
I'm saying
cover
like
Well,
what
Disney
kind of
won't let you
Disney?
do it.
Disney what?
Disney, what are you?
Like there's I mean that's true.
all of the songs.
Like In Sync, we're talking about like
In
Disney.
No, like
Disney.
like Disney, like
Disney.
The company, like the movies.
No, but
like Cinderella.
yeah,
and-
but they were part of the-
Mulan
the-
and Hercules and Aladdin.
all right, but I'm saying like they were part of like the.
Where
like,
are you from, dude?
Oh my God, I'm saying that's a broad umbrella because
It's
you
not.
have the.
It's not.
It
If you
is.
have to break everything apart, like everybody else is on your level.
Saying
Nobody.
Christina Aguilera, and
Justin
Justin Timberlake
So
are
they're
all part
from
of that.
They're from the Disney scene, but
Yeah.
they didn't stay Disney.
Right, they didn't stay Disney. Right. I'm just saying.
But if someone did a Disney cover band of
from
popular
the,
Disney
from
songs,
the
The
movies.
movies,
I'm
okay.
sorry, I had a preface.
like Lion King,
Yes,
Okay, yeah,
thank
you know, shit like that.
Yeah.
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 It's like a Phil Collins cover band.
But here's the thing, right? They'd get a cease
Stop.
and desist so fast.
What?
They
Oh, yeah,
a
you get
cease and
sued for
desist.
sure.
No, that's what I said. They
Like-
get canceled immediately.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah,
without
Disney
a doubt.
wouldn't-
Yeah.
But I don't understand why Disney hadn't been like, we're gonna do Disney tribute band, and then all of us would be out of a job because that's all anybody would ever see.
yeah.
But that,
They don't-
essentially, that's what like the Disney on Ice thing is, though. kind
Yeah,
of, right.
Yeah, and all the
Stuff like that?
yeah, totally, and all the performances at Disney where you see like people doing like renditions
yeah,
of the
yeah.
music.
I'm
They
telling
don't need to play ticketed venues at fucking
I'm
Daly's
just-
place.
I'm
They
just
have
telling-
they literally
Hollywood
own their
killed
own.
for doing that.
Yeah, but they
But-
own their own venues and they just do it all in house.
There is a Star Wars band that we've
play all
booked
the Star
before.
Wars
and-
songs.
Well, yeah, like they play music based on Star Wars.
What do you
and-
mean, like Britney Spears Star Wars, or like Justin Timberlake Star
Obviously,
Wars?
they're not. Those
What do you
aren't
mean, like,
analogous
the music
things.
that George Lucas wrote when he was a teenager with the Beach Boys? Go fuck yourself, Tony.
Yeah.
Just what are you talking? Come on.
Obviously,
Talk about me derailing shit.
awkward.
Anyways, but yeah, there's a Star Wars band that plays.
Yeah, man, I can't remember the name of them, but they drew very well, and they came out, and somehow they do it to where they're like right outside of the law of doing it.
Oh,
you
the
know?
8 beats vanilla
But,
ice situation.
Yeah, I
How
don't
do
know
they
though.
do that?
I don't know.
But that's what I'm
But they
saying.
did, yeah.
I mean, because that's Disney band.
And they
It's
look, they
Disney
tour
and
and they
Star
make.
Wars now.
And God, I
Yeah.
want to say that we booked them with a band that's named after, and they dress like Ned Flanders from The Simpsons.
Oh
all of
yeah,
them.
I want to see that.
I think they
band.
booked together. I think but they do like
It's a
original
metal
music,
band, right?
Yeah,
And they just
That's
all are
pretty
dressed
genius.
as Ned
it
Flanders.
is. And
That
yeah,
was
they
in
all dress like
1904.
it
I
might
remember
be the
that.
Ned Flanders. I can't remember their name either. God, I'm old. I used to remember all this shit. I used to remember stupid ass facts. I could tell you lineups of shows and what year it happened. I can't do that anymore. God.
But there was one that was like a Black Sabbath McDonald's
yep.
tribute
Yes.
band. What were they called
There's
again?
that one
I
that's
can't remember
Mac
either.
Sabbath.
Max Sabbath. That's what it was. That's an
And
amazing
yep,
band
they
name.
play all Black Sabbath and they dress up in as hammer. And here's the thing, man, they were great. Honestly, it was funny. It was, but you know, it's kind of weird because I'm like, you know, here it is, this band doing songs by Black Sabbath and mixing McDonald's in, and it's funny and it's hilarious, and it's you have to see it kind of thing.
Mhm.
But then, like, do you see it again?
That's
Like-
what I'm saying. Like there's
Ooh.
no long game here,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
like as an artist, there's no long game, and again, like the foundation that you're building your career upon is the fans, which you can't build your career off of something external because it's not reliable. You have to build it on your own foundation and create your own thing. So regardless of what they do, you're still doing your thing, right? Otherwise, if you decide to do if you've built it on the supporters, then the second you start to do something else and they decide that we're not here with that, your whole thing collapses now.
I
Yeah.
wonder
No.
if there were tribute bands of musicians that were around forever, and then the musician got canceled, and then their whole life just fell apart.
Like R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh
Or
yeah,
Michael Jackson, or
Michael Jackson hasn't been canceled yet. He's the one exception to the rule.
He's on the fence because you know why there's no definitive answer to what happened.
But I'll tell you what.
R. Kelly's that's definitive as fuck.
Yeah, he still hasn't been sentenced yet, but
Let's
Oh, he was
let's be
sentenced.
honest.
He was
He was
sentenced,
sentenced.
no,
He
he's
was
not
sent-
sentenced yet. He is guilty. He just doesn't have.
Oh, he hasn't been sentenced
Yeah.
yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
That's
All
an
the same
April.
evidence exists for Michael Jackson.
I know.
We're just not willing to hear it.
I know.
And because it was
Or Chris Brown, that'd be a good one, I guess.
Chris
maybe.
Brown is another one. Yeah,
But I don't know
he
any-
wasn't
any-
around long enough to have like a tribute band based around
I
him.
know.
Right,
I'm just
right.
saying.
But we have
like,
tribute shows based around Michael Jackson.
Ted
And
Nugent.
Ted Nugent.
Is there a tribute? There's got to be Ted Nugent.
But
tribute.
was he
Oh, yeah.
canceled?
No,
he
he's
just
just-
went off the deep end and
I
became
don't
like
know, he's
super
a fucking
conservative.
weirdo.
You know,
Yeah.
he's fucking hilarious though. Honestly,
But yeah, tribute bands are the worst.
Yeah.
Like, period, bar none. I've never seen a good one. I can't believe that the Pink Floyd one like sells out Red Rocks every year.
Look at, or
It's
Dark Star with
ridiculous.
fucking the Grateful
Do you know
Dead.
about that
I
one?
didn't know. I
Yeah,
didn't know
like
that.
every
Sells out
fucking
Red
year.
Rocks.
Dark
They-
Star does too,
No,
man.
well,
I don't
Dark
know.
Star's a little bit different.
They're a tribute
So then
band.
it comes back to this. Is it better to do that almost, and I say this for lack of a better term, as a failed musician, right? You hit a wall to where
Mhm.
you're not making it and you're like, look, I'm not fucking making it. but I'm so sick of working this fucking shitty ass retail job.
Or playing these shitty gigs.
So, fuck it, man. I can make money playing music that's already written by someone else. I love those songs anyway, and I'm making money doing it. Yeah, it's not my first go-to, but fuck, it's my second.
Look,
I'm still making money playing music.
I don't knock the grind, man. I'm not knocking the grind. If you're a musician, like, I respect the hustle regardless. I'm just saying that ultimately it's bad for business. Like, the end game is that you're put, like, because you're, like, with cover bands versus original bands, we all know the difference by this point. You're operating in different markets. If you're a cover band playing the bar scene, you're not in the music industry. So you're not occupying the space. You're in the bar scene. You're in the bar industry. If you're a tribute band, though, and you're selling tickets, you're now occupying our space. So and
Get out.
look at again, I'm not knocking the hustle. I understand where you're coming from.
You think a tribute in here?
I just think
As a promoter who's booking a tribute band right now,
of
I say
course.
that they're great.
yeah,
they're wonderful.
Look at, hey,
Of
so,
course.
some of my closest friends in music are in tribute bands. I have family members in tribute bands. I'm not knocking the hustle. I'm just saying ultimately it's a good money grab, okay, but it's not. It has no longevity, and it's bad for business.
All jokes aside, I absolutely agree with that, and I don't really work with very many tribute bands. Every once in a while, I will. It's not like I don't have anything against them, but I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
So
All right. Well, here's my next one. Don't bring your baby to a bar. I don't think that's that unpopular, but
I don't think that's unpopular.
just please stop doing
That's
it.
kind of weird when people do that.
No,
what's
I
the next
know.
part of that though?
And then also don't bring them to my house.
Nobody wants to bring their baby here, Bill.
Baby and kids in general, and I'm not saying like kids like just I guess like I don't know. I'd say like.
Oh, my
8
kid's taller than
and
that. My
older.
kid's cool as shit too.
No. I'm not saying like anybody else's kid or anything like that. It's just so fucking weird. First off, it's Friday, Saturday night. It's 11 o'clock at night.
That's kind of
The
weird.
baby needs to go to bed. And then secondly, like, what are you doing?
Do you think that's
It's
unpopular?
loud too.
I'm just like everything about it. We were playing at a place a little while ago, and there were a ton of kids. And granted, it wasn't that late or anything like that, but it was a bar. And at the
Where?
same, you know where. And at one of the little kids came up to our tip bucket and just was taking money out of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
and their parents
That
are
was funny.
nowhere. Their
Oh
parents
my
are getting
God.
drinks. I'm just like,
no way.
what are you doing?
Yeah, that was pretty
No
funny.
way. That's bad parenting.
Yeah, that was
And
hilarious.
I don't care if you guys know who it is.
And I saw
That's bad
I,
parenting.
s-
Yeah.
I saw little babies on leashes and stuff. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It just looks so trashy. Just stop doing it.
Now the
It's kinda
leashes
weird
are
thing.
that's the thing that I can get on board with. That's an unpopular opinion that I can get on board with. It
Listen.
might not even be that. I think the unpopular opinion would be to put your baby on a leash.
Yeah.
That's kind of gross, if you ask me.
So
It's
here's the
awful.
thing,
Don't
right?
do
I
that.
I used to
Leave 'em at
agree with
home.
that, right? But when you're in an airport and you got a kid and
Oh,
you got
yeah.
some crazy shit going on, you know what? Because there are such crazy motherfuckers out there that will do the craziest shit. That, you know what? If I have to be an asshole, and I've never kept my kid on a leash, but if that is gonna save my kid from fucking getting kidnapped,
Yeah.
then fuck it, dude. I'll take that every day. So if a parent is actually like, you know what, I need to keep my kid on a leash, I'll take that any day over bad parenting.
Yeah, you know
Does that
what?
make sense?
Totally. You know what? With these are opinions coming from two guys who don't have any fucking kids.
No,
so
yeah,
So
yeah.
look,
what are we
I do
talking
have a
about?
kid, and it's fucking scary. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's terrifying. I'm already paranoid as is. I watch a fucking lot of true crime. I've always been paranoid about that shit. Remember that movie Adam with fucking John Walsh? That's where he like got famous from. His son Adam was killed.
Oh yeah,
in
yeah.
Orlando.
Yeah.
It's just crazy shit. I remember watching it as a kid. It was like a made-for-TV movie, and
I
I'm like,
did
fuck,
see that,
man, this is a
actually.
real-life movie. This kid got kidnapped and got beheaded. Like,
That-
what
that-
the hell is wrong with our world? You know, and I seen that as a kid, and that fucked me up forever.
That was the story that fucked me up too when I was a kid. I remember hearing about that story, like they had to identify him with, you know, the teeth or whatever.
Yeah.
And like he went missing at a mall or something.
Yep.
Man, I remember hearing. I was like probably like a, you know, preteen or like early teenage years. I remember hearing that story and I was like, what the fuck? People are capable of that kind of shit,
Isn't
man.
that crazy? Yeah, like that's the
It's
first time I
fucked
realized
up.
that I was like, holy shit, this is real. And that shit stuck with me since. And I've always been a paranoid person because of that.
Yeah.
That's your story. Yeah.
I guess I understand the leash thing. I take back what I said.
That's the only reason why I'm like, you know what? It's kind of like sometimes knowing your faults is a strength. And if knowing your fault might be that your kid might run away from you and you'd rather just have your kid on a leash, fuck it. I'm there for it.
All I'm
Moral of the
saying
story is that if you're gonna bring your kid to Billy's house, put him on a leash.
All I'm saying
That's all
is
I'm saying.
I'm not
Not a bar, though.
I'm not going to playgrounds. I'm not going to Chuck E. Cheese's. Why are you bringing him into my life? That's what I'm trying to get at.
So what if it's someone's kid watching their parent playing a band?
That's a little bit different.
I used to
That's
help my
bringing
dad.
your kid to work. That's different.
I used
Right,
to help
so
my dad load in. When
I
was
feel
younger.
that. I feel
yeah.
like that. I feel like
and
that.
honestly, I'm talking like 6 years old and younger. Like,
Yeah, so
if
li-
they're supposed to be asleep right now. It's bedtime.
Yeah.
Listen, true story, right? I have in my dad van right now. I have a pair of the noise canceling headphones.
Yeah.
And I offer them up whenever someone comes to a show with their kid because I'm like, I don't know if you have headphones or earphones because you're bringing your kid to a show that's probably going to be really loud, and I don't know what kind of parent you are, so my headphones are available for you if you need them.
Yeah, and I have to preface again.
That's-
I didn't say show. I said bar.
Yeah.
Like, don't bring
Bar-
it to
bar
the
is
bar.
definitely,
This
yeah.
is a bar.
Yeah.
You are drinking. You all are drinking here. Quit bringing your baby.
Talk about breaking things down to a micro detail. So are venues, aren't they all also bars?
It's a little bit different though. If you're taking your kid, like, this is your first show. You really want us to go see? What was your first?
There's live music
Judas
venues.
Priest. I'm gonna take
Yeah.
my kid to Judas Priest. He fucking loves. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
It's like taking your
Again,
kid to a
that's
football
12.
game,
That or a
It's not so
baseball
weird,
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bring them to the baseball.
But there's
game.
definitely bars versus live music venues.
Right, yeah,
Like
yeah.
1904 is not a bar to me
No.
most nights, but sometimes it is.
I was trying to be a dick to Billy at this
Oh,
point.
Shit.
You can't.
Damn, I
though.
didn't pick up my.
Yeah, it's
You're just-
okay.
You're
It's my
bad at
bad.
you're bad at insults.
I'm
just trying to keep the peace.
I'm very good at being an asshole.
There hasn't
though.
been pieces I'm at. Fucking 5 years running.
Okay, so my second unpopular opinion is that most people hate on bands because it's trendy, not because it's true.
Whoa, that's a fact, and that's a huge thing of mine. Look, that whole Nickelback thing.
Oh, bro, that was one of my
Leave it
unpopular
alone,
opinions.
dude. What the fuck? They got famous for fucking writing songs in their garage.
That was one
That's
of my.
fucking great. Good
that was-
for them. If you don't like the songs, that's cool.
Yeah, that was one of my unpopular opinions like a year ago, where I said Nickelback isn't as bad as everyone thinks they are.
Fact.
And the thing is, it's like you just can't listen to one of their songs on the radio and say that band's terrible. You just can't. Now you can not like the song and think it's cheesy.
Hot take.
Right, it is, and because it is, right? Like Rockstar, come on, that's fucking cheesy
Of course.
as shit.
Photograph.
And Photograph, super
The
cheesy.
worst song ever.
But you can't listen to that and say the performances were bad in the studio. As an artist, as a musician,
And it's all relative, right? So, as bad as it might be to one person,
Yeah.
another person might listen to Grateful Dead and be like, "What is this fucking trucking song
Yeah,
about?
that is
This
true.
song is garbage." I think it's a cool song, but like it's all perspective, and it's even also you might like something in your point of life at one point, and then you might not like it later on in life, or you might overhear it and you don't like it anymore, but that doesn't make shit bad.
totally,
Let people live, man.
totally.
Now, if people are assholes like R. Kelly, fuck them.
That guy's got to go.
They could fucking rot.
He's
you know?
very
and then-
talented, though.
Music's
Very
great.
talented, but you know what? Like,
Yeah.
so are 1,000 other people. I'd rather find another talented person to focus on.
Why is it the most talented people are so fucked?
It's weird. Isn't
R.
that weird?
Kelly, Michael Jackson.
It's weird. Kanye, who doesn't
Kanye.
have
He's-
anything weird.
He just went off the deep
He's just
end.
yeah.
man.
He's just kind of I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
He's
now.
just got fucking psychological issues. He let the fame get to his head, man. He was somebody that already had an ego before he went into music, and then the thing blew his head up even more, and then he went off the deep end. That's
When's-
exactly what happened.
When's the last time you listened to Traps in the Closet by R. Kelly? The whole opera. There's like 20 parts.
I haven't
My
listened to it in a
favorite
long
part
time.
about all of it is it's the same backing track the whole time, which is new. The music doesn't change
Yeah.
the whole
I
time.
love it.
Yeah.
And then you still just
What a-
sold it.
Let's see who else is
What a
hated on like
monster.
Limp Bizkit was hated on like that for a
Yeah.
long
Oh,
time
yeah.
until all of a sudden they just came back. I don't
Somehow.
know what happened.
I
but-
listen
Dude, I
to
don't
that
know what
song.
happened, but that's that alternate universe shit, right?
Yeah.
That we're in. That's I think what happened somewhere. That all that shit's getting twisted and turned all together. And
Trump
it's-
got elected, and then it
Every-
shifted the timeline
I think
to down a different, and then Limp Bizkit. Before you know it,
That's going to be a
Trump's gonna
Mandela
get-
effect.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
what's going to happen. It's going to be a Mandela effect.
Mandela effect, and fucking and Trump will get elected again in this next time around, and then Nickelback will become popular
Pop
again.
again, yeah.
all right, okay.
But like Marilyn Manson, dude. Like, what'd you do, bro? You had to really be that big of an asshole to do all that shit.
Yeah,
Like, you were fine. You were crazy. That was cool. Everybody loved you. And then you went too crazy.
yeah.
What the fuck you doing?
Yeah.
You know?
That's all. A lot of. I mean, yeah. The only person who I think who successfully pulled it off was Eminem.
Who like turned around?
He just like never became irrelevant and always maintained his kind of fuck you status, but while also like
Being very edgy.
being edgy, but without without crossing the boundary.
Yes.
Even though like if you listen, like I'm a big hip hop fan, and when I was younger, Eminem was like the thing growing up, and you know, his first 2 records, I think that he definitely went beyond what the boundary was.
He said a lot
On
of
purpose.
shit about homosexuals.
On purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, okay, yeah, but like it's also like it was a joke too, but like it was also like him just being fucking crazy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And like
Shock factor.
the shock factor, and he's kind of maintained that same personality without I don't know, it's because he's pissed a lot of people off. I don't know how he's maintained a career, but he has.
Because he's also respected by a lot of people, and he respects the right people.
That's true.
And that's a
exactly.
big thing, and I feel like, and it sucks because he's definitely said some shit that you're like, yo, dude, come on.
But he
Cut it
hugged
out.
Elton John at the
But,
fucking
well, yeah, they
you
did
know
the song together and
yeah.
stuff. So it's like, you know, I'm like, well, I mean, you know, he's making shocking music for shocking people. He's an Interscope artist. Did you ever see the Interscope fucking documentary?
No.
on-
Fuck yeah.
I
With
really-
with,
that thing's
uh,
amazing.
I've been putting
Paul
that on
Ivine and
forever now.
Jimmy Ivine and
yeah, Jimmy Iovine,
Dr. Dre.
and
Oh,
Reznor.
Speaking
so
of-
good.
Amazing.
They're
But
you know they're playing.
controversy.
Oh, I didn't
big
mean to
thing. No, go ahead,
interrupt.
go
Sorry. You know they're playing the Super Bowl this year, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg,
Snoop
and
Dogg.
Eminem.
You know why, right?
No.
Because you know who's involved in the
it's an
NFL
N-
now.
Oh, well, that's true. I guess
Jay-Z's involved in that shit.
Oh.
Jay-Z had a lot to do with coordinating.
And they're playing in L.A. too.
Yeah,
That's where
yeah.
it's going to be this year.
And that you know, look, this is an unpopular opinion, but why the fuck are they not going to have Metallica do a damn Super Bowl? I'm like, look, I get it, they're heavy or whatever, but like, they're one of the biggest bands on the planet ever, ever.
Maybe they
Not
don't
even
wanna
just
do
for a
it.
metal band, and that is my thing. Maybe they don't want to do it. That could be
Yeah.
the only thing I could think of, and they just won't say it. But I'm like, yo, like they're the most successful touring band in history. Fact.
Yeah.
Absolute fact.
Yeah.
And numbers wise, they are the most bigger than the Rolling Stones, bigger than U2, bigger than Madonna. They are the most successful touring band in the history of the world ever. And they've never. I'm like, yo, just have them play the Super Bowl. Like, you play the music during the Super Bowl, or like, you know, during football. Like,
oh yeah.
Maybe they don't feel like they're up to
and
it
that could
anymore.
be it. They might just not want to do it,
Yeah.
Like,
which is very possible.
I
That's
think
that-
that's 100% why. I mean, they were like the last person to join streaming platforms and everything. Like, why?
And they were
like,
right.
Shut
yeah,
down
right. They were
Napster
right,
and
man. The
everything.
fucking Napster
They were
thing.
right.
I'm just saying, like, I think that's on them. They're
That
like,
could be.
we don't fucking need.
They
to play
saw
the
Prince
Super
do it,
Bowl.
and they're like, no one's gonna ever top
is
that.
true,
Why the
too.
fuck are we gonna do it? Because
Also-
Prince fucking owned it, and you're
Yeah.
not gonna beat that.
It's awesome.
Also, I think that maybe on some level, it's like this is a reaching an audience that we don't necessarily need to be reaching, and I think
That's a good point.
They're
That's a very
getting
good point.
older, and their stamina is probably not what it was, and they're probably like, we don't need to showcase this to an audience that doesn't know who we are really. You know, let's just keep doing what we're doing and fucking crushing it, and not have to worry about this fucking, not have to deal with the pressure of being. You know, imagine the pressure as an artist having to deal with that. All the shit that comes along with it. You know what I mean?
They could be like, let's not play the Super Bowl. We'll just instead play every fucking football stadium out there and sell them out.
Exactly.
Some of them twice.
The money's
You
probably
know?
the money's probably not even right for them. It's probably not
It's
even right
ju-
for them.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
probably right.
NFL
you're
can't
probably
afford
right.
them.
It's probably on their end. Come on, Metallica, step it up.
step it up, guys.
All right, my very
Lower your budget.
my very last one is I like auto tuning and vocoders in song. It's very unpopular.
Listen,
I
T-Pain.
like that. I like
T-Pain
that.
fucking owns it.
T-Pain's great, but I liked it before that with Daft
Cher?
Punk. With Daft
Cher.
Punk.
Cher did it first in the '90s.
I
Believe
think-
in
well,
love after
I
love.
love, I love that song. And then
Great song.
Peter Frampton. I mean, he.
well, he was doing the vocoder thing, but
That was a
That's why I
vocoder.
said
But,
vocoder.
yeah,
I was
Bon
putting
Jovi?
in vocoders.
But auto-tune-
Jovi did
Bon
too.
Jovi did
but
it.
auto tune as an effect was used first with Cher. In the late night, like just the actual software of
Like, and
auto tune.
right. I'm not even trying to say like the auto tuning to make you sound like you're not auto tune. I'm saying crank it up to 1,000.
Just to use it as an effect.
I love it.
Which is what they did
That
with Cher.
sounds
That's
so
what
cool.
that's the first time I did it.
and
was with
T-Pain.
Cher,
That's why
yeah.
T-Pain did it.
Yeah,
Did you
T-Pain
watch
did
that?
too.
This is
I
Pop?
did, yeah. That's where I
Fuck.
got it from. Yeah,
Mind
yeah.
blown, dude.
Yeah, it was amazing.
T-Pain, and then obviously T-Pain, we know can sing his ass off.
He can.
He ain't
He's
no proof.
talented. He doesn't need it, but
It worked.
But who do you say he met on the plane?
Usher.
Usher. He was like, "Hey man,
That
good to meet
sucks.
you. You ruined music.
That's so
Usher
depressing.
said that.
Usher
Yeah,
said
Usher told him
that.
that on a plane.
And he's not fucking wrong, man.
That's
It's
depressing.
unpopular opinion. This is what this is.
No, I'm not like yo.
It's my fucking
I
opinion.
no, I
man.
understand why I get why people like it, and I'm all about embracing progress and new innovative things into whatever music, art, whatever it might be. But what I will say is that him using it as just an effect kind of ushered in, no pun intended, this new era of artists that are not talented, that are relying on that to do the thing.
Absolutely are relying on that, yeah.
You know, and then
A lot of the hip-hop artists.
So what? Who cares? It sounds good.
the combination of him and Lil Wayne created mumble rap.
Yeah.
And for that, I will never forgive either one of them. Not
So-
that they need my forgiveness because they're
But-
both crushing it.
And,
but,
and
you
again,
know,
though, like that goes back to the Nickelback thing. People like it.
Yeah, man.
people love it.
So just because we don't get it, doesn't mean it don't make no sense.
Well, there's one thing about not getting something, and there's another thing about just like ingesting toxicity. And you might not like fast food, but the rest of the people do, and it's destroying our nation. And I believe that mumble rap
fast food is bad.
is fast food hip hop, and I believe that pop music, by and large, anyways, there's some amazing pop artists out there. Don't get me wrong. And as a singer, if you're legit, pop is one of the hardest genres to pull off, right?
Absolute fact.
So I'm not, and the artists that they hire, the musicians that they hire in their bands, top tier, best in the world, okay? But the music that they're producing is for the fans, and we just talked about this, right? The foundation that you're laying. This is the music, and it's dumbing down our society to a point where it's becoming toxic, I think. You want to know why Trump got elected? It's because
Racism?
it's because Nashville's pumping out songs
Xenophobia?
about. It's because Nashville's pumping out songs about chicks
Racism again?
in short jean shorts and pickup trucks, and fucking hip hop is just mumbling words that don't make sense anymore, and like we live in a world where it's just
So
about
you
like
think
instant
that
gratification. There's no substance
Lil
to
Wayne lost the election? That's
yes,
that's
Lil
what
Wayne
you're
and
saying?
T-Pain combined lost the election.
Auto tuning
Yeah,
is why we had 4 years
That
of
sounds like
nuts.
that's it in a nutshell.
That's a weird one.
That should be my third unpopular
What
opinion.
is your last one?
Oh my god, it's very unpopular.
I can't wait to hear it.
People are gonna hate me after this one. All
Is
right,
it-
ready?
Is it about the Grateful Dead?
No.
Well, then you're fine.
Handicap.
Ooh, I got a Grateful Dead one. Go
That's
ahead.
good, yeah.
You go.
Handicap parking spaces ruin society.
Ruined it? How?
All right, so I've got. There's actually a logic to this. Okay, so here we go. Chelsea told me not to say this on the air, but
She's probably right.
yeah, but here we go. So when we kind of outsource just common human decency, we lose the capacity to have common human decency, right? So it's like, instead of just instilling in people that, hey, we need to take care of our elders, and they need things, they've contributed more, and they're not as able to maybe, or even people that are handicapped that might not be able to take care of themselves. Like, we need to be able to help them as a society more. Like, these are some of the things that we can do to help them.
Like parking spaces?
Right. But
Okay.
what we did instead was like, hey, don't even think about it. We're just going to go ahead and take care of it for you. We're going to slap a fine on this if you park here. And we're just going to instill fear in you as a society, rather than
Fear?
rather than you just knowing to do the right thing. Now you're just scared into doing the right thing because you're going to get a $200 parking ticket or get towed.
I think most people.
And that kind of like plants a seed of just outsourcing all of your morality as a human, I think.
I think most people. I bet when handicap parking spaces were invented or when they started, I'm not sure when they did.
I don't know.
I bet there wasn't a fine. And
There
then,
might not have been a fine.
And then people kept parking in there that weren't
And they had
handicapped
to.
and getting that. What did they have to do?
Yeah, they had to outsource the
They
thing.
had to put outsource what?
You have to outsource the thought process of taking care of people in your community.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to say from the beginning they weren't thinking about people either.
I don't know.
So it was a good thing.
I don't know what the dynamic
Very
was.
unpopular, and
Yeah.
your logic is just completely garbage.
Do you see what I'm getting at, though?
No,
You don't see. You don't even see where I'm going with it.
I think I see it.
What do you
and
think, Mike? You think
So, well, kind of off of something you said, unpopular opinion I have, right? The respect your elders thing. I don't believe in it.
You don't respect
I
your
don't.
elders?
No, because you know why?
They were fucking Nazis, most of
Respect
them.
fucking
Like the
each other,
fourth
right?
commandment.
Like, look, respect me, motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't have to fucking go out of my way to respect it.
I love
Yeah.
this fucking
I
tell 'em, Mike.
respect everybody, but if you're gonna be an old cranky asshole to me,
You don't get a fucking handicap parking
I don't.
spot.
I don't need to be nice to you, right? Like, I'll open the door for you. I have no problem doing that, but you can't be an asshole. That doesn't allow someone to be an asshole to me, right?
Totally.
So it's respect each other.
I agree.
Okay. I can kind of get behind that. Like
Respect each other.
everybody
For
love everybody.
Yeah,
Jackie
everybody love
Moon.
everybody.
But at the
Old,
same,
young, you know.
I agree.
I
You
just
can't be an
don't-
asshole to a kid because they're younger than you. That's not right.
That's
yeah.
very true.
I get it. It's not like the elders have like a fucking pass for everything, and that's what you're saying with the handicap spot. I think that
No, what I'm
people are
saying.
just dicks, and we gotta control dicks. That's why we have the police.
Yeah, I'm saying that
And law.
controlling the dicks. This all goes back really to
Controlling the dicks
overpopulation.
would be the abortion problem that they're having. Too,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that would be.
But
nice.
they don't put the control on the dicks.
It all
You
goes.
gotta control the dicks.
Yeah, you gotta control the dicks.
Oh, I've
This-
said
this-
forever. We'd fucking solve all this shit if you just gave them a fucking rebate for what is it called, getting snipped.
Snipped. Yeah.
Yeah,
$5,000.
$5,000. They'd be lining up the block.
I'm into that idea.
And free Ted Nugent tickets. Woo!
This is something
I'm in.
I can get on board with you.
Oh,
Or
on this
Ted
one.
Nugent cover band tickets.
Cover.
Then it
Oh,
don't
the
cost
tribute
anything
show.
for that.
Oh, the tribute show. Oh, the Ted Nugent
Cover,
tribute show.
Not cover
the
shit.
Nuge.
Yeah, the Nuge. That's
Not
what
a-
you call the band.
The
The
Nuge.
Nuge.
The
Ooh,
Nuge.
yeah.
No.
That's a good
bad.
band name.
Tribute bands are bad. Are real bad.
Cat Scratch Fever is such a good fucking joint, though, dude.
What is it?
Cat Scratch Fever. It's
Cat-
such a good song, dude.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
of course. Yeah.
God, it's such a good song.
He's not untalented.
No,
He's just kind of a dick.
You know what's
Yeah.
fucked up too? You know, you never realize he's not the singer. You always kind of forget that
Yeah.
he's not the singer of the band. He's
I
just a
completely
guitarist.
forgot that.
But you know it, but you don't know it. You know what I mean? Like it's such a like, oh shit, he's not the singer.
Yeah.
He's not the one singing that shit. He's just playing the guitar.
That's I
ripping the
didn't-
guitar.
Yeah,
He's a
great.
fucking shredder. We
He's
know
great.
All right. What's your last? Do you have an unpopular opinion?
that.
Or
Yeah,
did you
I mean,
have one? we
yeah,
didn't ask.
yeah. I mean,
Oh wait, you said it. You should respect your. elders.
well, you should respect your elders, but
Oh,
you know,
you
also
should- you should
I don't.
respect your
Unpopular
elders.
opinion. I don't feel I'm as good looking as so many people tell me that I am. That's an unpopular.
You're a
opinion.
good-looking guy.
See, unpopular opinion.
That's
I
a-
appreciate that.
That's a
Yeah.
good one
That's
because
an
it's like
unpopular opinion.
no matter what you say, like that's a fucking good one, man.
So Mike's also a fisherman, right? In his spare time.
I do have a bucket hat that I love, by the way.
Yeah.
My kid doesn't like it, but I love it. I should be wearing it right now. I could have hidden my face when you said the handicap thing.
I should have hidden my face when I said that.
Man,
Whatever,
right.
bro. I fucking stick by it. You know what I mean? You gotta think about shit. Start telling
So why don't you park in a handicap spot? Because of the ticket.
because I'm a fucking decent human being. Even
okay.
it's not to take.
My bad.
I remember when I worked at Guitar Center, they were like, you can't park in the spaces closest to the store, even if it's not handicapped. But you just can't. Like, we need that for customers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they educated me, and I understood, and I followed the rules. And then I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, that's actually good. And I've carried that into my everyday life, where I try not to like park super close if I don't like knowing that I don't have to do it. You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like if we instill that morality
I think
into
that's still there. I mean, like everybody, like there's so much like bad like point fingers and like disgust when you fucking do that anyways and get away with it and don't have to pay a ticket. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Or if you're like, God, I'm fucking late. There's no fucking parking spot. I'm still not parking in this handicap spot.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah, of course.
The only place I could disagree with all that is the fucking Publix in Riverside, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say
Seventh
that.
circle of hell.
It's funny, man. Like I don't like. It's a little annoying, but I don't really like. I don't know. Like in South Florida, like every parking lot is like that. So
No,
I'm
I
just
know.
like, it's just I don't know.
Man, I went to the smallest Publix of all time in Cayocho in Little Havana, and like there were, I swear to God, like 5 parking spots. In that
Yeah.
place, and people were just like about to kill you for one.
Yeah,
It's way
I
worse.
lived in the suburbs. It was a huge parking lot, and it was always a fucking nightmare over there. Just a lot of people. It just doesn't matter. But like, either way, that's my unpopular. One of my unpopular opinions. I don't see the big deal about
government.
the
The
Publix
government
in
shouldn't
Riverside.
fucking fine you to be considerate. I think is what
Yeah,
you're trying to say.
that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
I get what you're
exactly.
saying.
I think that's
But
an unpopular opinion.
I feel like then you also have to believe that 100% of Americans are nice people.
No, I definitely
That's
don't believe
definitely
that.
not
Then
true,
there's the
unfortunately.
fine. A lot of all it takes is one fucking idiot to
Ruin it for the rest of everybody.
bring a fucking
Which I
bomb
also-
on a
which
plane
I
and
also
then-
don't agree with that.
Ruins everything.
It's kind of such a weird dynamic because it doesn't necessarily mean people are bad people. They're
No.
just a little selfish and
Yeah.
might not
Not
think
considerate. Yeah.
beyond themselves. It doesn't. And once they know, then they're like, "Oh shit, you're right." So it's not necessarily like they're bad. They just make bad decisions.
Yeah,
or,
they're not considerate.
Or lack.
Totally.
frontal lobe wasn't developed yet.
Yeah.
A lot of
So.
serial killers are like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Damage to the frontal lobe. I watched a lot of true crime.
Yeah.
Everything
podcast.
should be just like whether or not if don't do bad things to people, but people do it all the time, and
Yeah,
you gotta have a
yeah.
punishment for it.
Yeah, I just think that I think that there's a lot of slack that's given to society when we say that we can just like find away the problems versus like making an effort to make people more mindful. There's a lot of people that are just like not mindful because they're not taught to be mindful, and they're not taught to be mindful because they know that society, like, or not society really, but the government has already built in a consequence, right? And so the lack of mindfulness or the mindfulness doesn't come from actually being mindful. It comes from a fear of being penalized,
I get
which
it.
is like
Right.
is wrong.
So it's not making you a good person. It's making you a fearful person.
Exactly.
So do they have handicapped parking spots in Japan? Because Japan is different culture.
Do
from
they?
what-
I don't
I've
know.
never been.
I've never been to Japan.
But from what I understand, the culture there is very different.
I didn't
It's
see
very
them-
mindful and very courteous.
I didn't.
yeah.
I didn't see them.
Nobody
in Turkey.
parks anywhere.
From what I
in
understand,
Japan.
when they would wear masks,
But even if they
it
were
wasn't
sick,
to
yeah.
not get sick. It was
Yeah.
to not get other people sick.
Right. Right. That's
And
a kind.
here we can't even get half the
we
country
can't
to
do
do that.
it's yeah, here it's like never, it's like, well, it's you know,
You can't even save yourself or their selves. You can't convince them to do.
right, and that's like the whole point that I'm trying to make. Like, that was the bigger point that I was
Yeah,
trying to
I
make.
get
It was
it.
like a funny take on the bigger
feel
picture.
that,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
I get it.
Anyways, it's gonna be super unpopular. People are gonna hate me after that, but you know, whatever. Mike, thanks for being here today, man. This
Dude,
is a lot
thank you
of
guys so
fun.
much. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Super informative.
really
It's
awesome.
a great hang, man. It's a lot
I
of
can't
fun.
wait to turn this off and talk some more shit after this. Too.
Oh,
It's
we're
great.
gonna get into the details.
I got
bro.
I want to know who this old guy was.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I gotta.
Oh, yeah.
man.
Yeah.
We're getting
Without
into
a
it.
Good
doubt.
stuff.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out and tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Adios,
Peace.